What?
And I'm going to give you one opportunity because we're friends.
Winner!
Who gives a shit about where the ball's been?
Yeah, F him. They went from loving this guy, best move ever, to hating him.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
I love it because it tells you how the game was played.
There's nowhere for him to go. I think there's one place.
You can't do that in the national team. Do I look like I'm freaking kidding?
He does things that are absolutely insane.
Successful and sexy? No. It wasn't aggravating at times? Yes.
Sorry,
That's not very fair.
It's not about being fair.
Welcome to the greatest soccer show ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the weekly recap from We Are Soccer. Oh my word! What a great weekend for some of us. Listen, EPL is back, and at first I thought, wow, I'm really pissed off. I really wish we were still on that international break, and then bang, it turned around, and I was really happy we were back. I know some of you wish we were still on that international break because your team lost, but don't worry. We'll talk about it. You'll get over it. We'll move forward. There is another international break coming up in about 4 weeks' time, so lots to talk about with that as well. But comeback wins for Villa, City, Liverpool, and Spurs. Man Utd, whoopsies. Seagulls take a big old you-know-what on Old Trafford. We'll talk about that. Lots of other stuff to get to. Everton are being taken over by another American. 777 Club there. We'll talk about how many Americans now own EPL teams. I got to be honest, it's incredible. And wait until the All-Star break for the EPL. We're going to have some fun there. And we all know Ivan Toney has now been suspended for 8 months for gambling. The English FA have let off a manager for gambling and haven't put out his name and have had no suspensions for him. What the F? Anyway, lots to get to, as I said. A big thank you to our partners in crime, Soccer World. You can visit them at soccerworld.net, or if you were in the Metro Detroit area, they have 3 locations. Thank you very much to Next Level Training. Aaron, Scotty, Renato, Dylan, Bilal, and the boys. Appreciate you, boys. You guys are the best soccer trainers in the country, and we know it, and everybody else does too. Big thank you to Dog and Pony Show. I'm drinking the lager they have, the Colonel General, whatever it is. It's brilliant, absolutely. I've had a couple of these because the Villa won. Thank you to the Michigan Jags, where they can take your kid from the bottom level to the top level. They've got every single level for your kid. One of the best clubs. My kids play for the Jags. That's why I'm such a big fan. All right, it's not just me sitting here. I've got some friends in the studio. Some of them are sad. Some of them are meh for the weekend. And another one is super happy. All right, why don't we visit over on the other side of the studio, Muscle Island. We've got Brooks. We've got Nate and Danny. Why don't we start with you there, Nate? Oh, look at you in your German regalia, and hey, look at me, Stuttgart again.
Happy Oktoberfest, or from where I was living, Volksfest for all of you out there. Nice.
Cheers for that.
Also, before we rounded out that international break of coaching firing, Germany got their first win in a very long time.
An interesting win as well. I didn't see that. None of us saw that coming after the big loss to Japan.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
New manager, no manager bounce.
The no manager bounce.
It's like a Greg Bullholzer no but look back pass, Yeah, we don't need these guys. And then Stuttgart raging on.
Stuttgart. Look at those guys. They're not. It's not like last year, Nate. There's no relegation battle this year. You're winning. You're actually winning.
We have half the win total from last year in 4 games.
Congratulations, my friend.
We got 28 more games to be craptacular and still not lose.
Yeah, that's the spirit, I think.
I think he's from Senegal. They're Senegalese striker Galesri, who they picked up from France, has now 8 goals in 4 matches, which is he's the second player to be able to do that actually in the Bundesliga ever. So it's actually pretty good. He had a hat trick over the weekend.
Is he leading the Golden Boot race in the Bundesliga now?
He might actually.
I believe
Let me all check.
Leaving one Harry Kane in his dust at the moment.
Yeah, Harry Kane had a good game, but he is. He is the top scorer. What was kind of funny is he did a create her an assist to himself. on his last goal. He literally flicked the ball up in the air and then headed it himself.
Brilliant. That's absolutely genius.
That was,
I mean,
it was
put
like,
that man down for an assist and a goal.
And what's nice is, unlike all the other good players that Stuttgart has had in the past, they actually signed him to a 4-year deal at the beginning of the year.
Smart.
So he's
Very
locked
smart.
in, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? You know what, Nate? I've
Yeah.
noticed your friend at Muscle Island table over there. He's also wearing a funny looking hat.
Yeah,
But
less traditional.
Less traditional, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's become traditional as of recent.
Just so we're aware, I got the full Gergalia
you.
on right now. Yeah.
Yeah, look at you.
Leather pants and all.
Yeah.
You know how many times I peed in these things? Like more than once.
Oh, that's that smell.
You
Oh,
drink
gross.
a lot of beers. You pee in the leather pants sometime. What's nice thing about leather, Brooks, not there, Danny. The nice thing about leather is when you pee in it,
Every week.
when you pee in it, it leaves no noticeable stains. I could be peeing right now for all you know.
I can actually see several stains on that thing.
That's other stains.
Yeah, he didn't talk about what's
I would
on your
I would
head.
mind you to stay out of my historical leather pants history.
Is that seagull poop?
Ah, oh.
You had to go there. You had to just bring me right back down to zero. I was having a good day. Having a good day talking about Stuttgart.
You'd almost forgot
I
about
was-
your other club.
I was
huh?
ignoring. Other club? I have no other. I don't recognize another club.
Nate is what's commonly got known as selective memory when it comes to weekend results.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Like a goldfish.
Yeah, like a goldfish. Well,
Oh, Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso reference from our guy Nate there.
Don't.
He's a big
No,
fan. Big
no.
fan.
No.
We're not going to go there. We're not
Worst
gonna
TV series
go there. Not
ever.
gonna go there. All right, Danny, my friend, you are wearing the shit hat at the moment. Would you like to explain why you're wearing the shit hat at the moment?
Well, I thought it would be apropos that I would be wearing the hat.
What was that word?
Apropos? Appropriate? I thought it would,
Google that for me.
Yep.
I thought it would be appropriate for me to wear the actual poop that the Seagulls left at Old Trafford. I actually flew home to get it and stuck it on the top of my head.
You know,
There's a
20
lot. There's a lot
For
there.
20 minutes, they looked really good, though. For 20 minutes, they looked really good.
Yes, but do you see the amount of poop that's on here?
Yeah.
That was the rest of the.
If we could have
you know,
stopped the
70
game in
minutes.
first 20 minutes,
Hmm.
would have been good.
If only, yeah.
And then Danny Wallback.
So
broke
yeah,
our spirits.
I mean, I've had a decent weekend as a coach this weekend. I've had a good weekend as a coach,
Yeah.
good weekend as a human being, good weekend as a father. Terrible weekend as a supporter. As you can see, I'm wearing the
You left
emoji poop hat.
You left one out.
What's that?
You had an amazing weekend as a friend. To me.
And the bromance continues at Muscle Island.
Don't make me blush. Don't make me blush.
Well, Danny, you and I have had opposite weekends. I have had an absolutely brilliant weekend, and my kids and wife definitely noticed. And last night they're like, "What happened today?" So I had to tell them why all the jumping around in the living room happened earlier in the day. It's obviously because Aston Villa won. And then I was viewing other results, which helped us move up the table, so they were very happy as well. Your weekend has not been, and it is, we live and die with our clubs, do we not?
Yeah, but Villa hasn't beaten anyone on
This is true.
near the top half of the table. So
You're absolutely true.
they'll do great against Manchester United.
And you know what? I was thinking about that. You know what? We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to that. Let's not forget about Brooks, or commonly known as Mr. Arigato Stato Rebato. I don't forget. Whatever.
Can we just take a moment to talk about what he's wearing right now?
Tanzania.
Does anyone know where that's on a map? I don't think that's a real place.
You know, first it's my lacrosse jerseys, and now it's
I was just
like,
asking. I made no
All right.
critical references. I was
right.
I was pointing out and asking. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I like the Tanzania shirt. That's hey man, let's just be happy it's soccer. But Brooks, welcome to the show. I know you've had a long weekend yourself doing a lot of scouting. You were out today like for 9 hours scouting.
Yeah. Let's see. Saturday, 2 college matches: OU against Northern Kentucky, and then night game UDM versus Cleveland State. And today it was Vardar and Jags MLS Next at the OU Dome.
How was that game? You didn't go see the India 11 one?
No, Nate, I was busy doing other stuff on Saturday.
He was busy
That's
washing
okay,
his hair.
because I found that
Did you go?
no, but I find
It's
that
close to your house, isn't it?
yeah, but the coaching staff at India 11 has no sense of humor in my opinion.
I have
Pretty.
no idea what that's in reference.
I don't know.
Me
but,
making jokes and
Is that a dad joke?
no. Anyways, carry on. How'd that Vardar game go? Just out of curiosity.
Which one? I watched the 19s to part of the 14s. I didn't get to the 13s because I wouldn't have made it here on time.
Pick one.
I know Vardar won a few, but they were pretty competitive. I mean, Jags, I think they drew one of the 16s. I think Vardar won the 19-17. I think 15, I forgot what the score was. Maybe Vardar just won 1-0. They were good matches, though.
All right.
Well coached and good soccer and competitive, and it was good.
You watched some good soccer. I watched some good soccer. Nate watched some
I
good
watched some good
soccer. Danny coached some good soccer
For the first 20 minutes, it was good soccer.
for 20 minutes. Yes. All right, let's jump in. Let's talk games. Let's start off with the first game that happened yesterday morning, Saturday. It was the Wolves of Wolverhampton at Liverpool. All right, listen, guys. Actually, I'm sorry. It was Liverpool at Wolves. We've got a question.
We got a comment already.
Oh, all right.
All right, on YouTube. Here we go.
Is it worth reading? Is it good? Okay, let's go for it. Go for it. Yep.
It's from your brother,
Oh, Christ.
Glenn. Hi, Glenn. So what do Man United and Ronaldo have in common?
I don't know.
They both suck. Glenn for the win.
You gonna take this level of abuse,
Does
Danny?
do dad jokes run in the Hearns family that are just terribly fucking awful?
I never thought they were good. They're about
Right.
as good as a Ted Lasso
Just
series.
one
It's
Hearn
awful.
sitting about 10 feet from us and one at home on his keyboard warrior just, thinks he's got dad jokes all up the wazoo, but
You got another brother, too. Luckily, Kyle isn't as vocal.
Yeah, he's actually the funniest one. Yeah. Anyway, boys, let's jump in. All right, Wolves hosted Liverpool. Wolves went up 1-0. Actually, should have got up 2-0. And then Liverpool made their way back, and in the end, it was 3-1. I tell you what, I'm still on this Dominic Soboslai slide here. I think he is right now the best signing in the Premiership, rivaled only by Moussa Diaby for Aston Villa. And I think those two.
Told you.
Yes.
Sorry, so something. Sorry.
You got something in your throat there, Nate?
Yeah, it's cough. Cough.
Yeah.
Air's dry.
Again,
Bundesliga.
Bundesliga.
yeah,
Yes,
it's-
where both these gentlemen came from.
Little.
I gotta be honest.
Can I take this off yet?
Yeah,
You can
take
definitely
off
take it
long
off.
ago, man.
Listen.
Don't take off your sorting
Liverpool,
hat, Harry
this
Potter.
is not the same Liverpool of last year. I definitely think they've turned things around. I definitely think they are on the upward trend. The only problem they are going to have this year is if they pick up injuries. I do not think they are deep enough, and this could very well hurt them. They struggled to get midfielders in at the end of the window. They're going to need to spend money in January because, as we know, throughout the long season where international breaks happen, the FA Cup happens, the Moose Cup, Caribou Cup happens. There are a lot of games in a short period of time. They're going to need to buy players come January. They better hope they do not have major injuries. But for right now, this Liverpool team is actually performing up to standard and doing very well. Now, they have not really played top-level teams yet, Villa being the only one, and obviously Villa are, at this point, 7th. So say what you want about that, but it is what it is. They have not played the Man Cities. They haven't played a Man United. They haven't played the big clubs. But I do think this is a different Liverpool club this year. I'm interested to know if anybody disagrees or if everybody agrees. I think they're on a different tear than they were last year.
I agree with you. No, I agree with you. I mean, despite an early setback in the game, right? I think Wolves were ahead after 7 minutes or something, like 8 minutes, something like that.
Mhm.
Despite an early setback in the game, they looked terrific.
Yeah.
And to me, to be honest with you, having watched, we're on week 5 of the Premier League season right now, right? And I would have said Arsenal at the start. Well, I did say Arsenal at the start of the season that would be early challengers, but just given the way that Liverpool have played and acquisitions that they've made over the course of the summer, I actually really enjoy watching Liverpool play at the minute. Despite Virgil van Dijk being suspended for an additional game and missing the previous 2, which I thought would actually hurt them. Especially at home against Villa, I thought it would actually hurt them, but they've actually gone from strength to strength.
Yeah.
So it just shows the squad depth that he's got now, and obviously, his key area of the window was bringing in midfielders, and Slobosai has been arguably Liverpool's best player this season.
Yeah, I think he absolutely has, and I love the way he plays with Endo Wataru, coming from Stuttgart. The Stuttgart captain is now over there. I think I can see them finishing top 3. I
don't think we've seen the best of McAllister either yet.
Oh no, not yet.
No,
Absolutely
I don't think
not.
we've seen the best of McAllister yet at all.
He's still getting up to speed with how Liverpool works. I agree with you. Yeah,
I really enjoy watching them play at the minute. I think Klopp is he's made some really astute signings. I like him. I'd like him as a manager, obviously. But they're interesting to watch at the minute. But I would like to see, in years past, the past 4 or 5 years, Liverpool have been City's biggest challenges.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to the City Liverpool game. I really am. I'm looking to see how far Liverpool have actually come from last season with the changes that they made in the midfield. So it'll be interesting for sure.
I think a lot of Liverpool fans are not going to have to worry here. I believe last year was a little bit of we'll call it that 7-year the 7-year slide for Klopp, and I think it was just a little bit of an anomaly and a what do they call that? A coincidence that has happened at the prior club or two when he was there for 7 years. This is different. This is a different year for them. I will say, I think they're going to need to buy a player or two in the January window, and you will have to overspend to get it. But at that point, they will be in second or third and on a roar, excuse me. So, yeah, good for them.
And I think that by January that they can assess what their needs are, if there is an injury or not, and see what type of player they might need, or not even go for a buy, maybe a loan.
And maybe they will, I was going to use a bad word, but maybe
Use
they
it.
will go and take all the players from the Bundesliga again.
They got 6 Bundesliga players right now.
Six?
I went and
Liverpool?
count them.
6.
Yep.
Wow.
I think Liverpool have got.
Do you want to list all of them, Nate?
We
Please.
talked about this. We talked about this before, but it's been a highlighted area of the field, and maybe a certain attention in the January transfer window to one area strengthens another.
Yeah.
In the sense that if they go after a right back in January, a good right back, somebody that's reliable, somebody that can defend, somebody that can attack, maybe it strengthens their midfield as well in January through the course of June, with Trent actually going into the middle of midfield.
Yeah.
So maybe that's an area that they look at in January. But things are looking good for Liverpool at the minute, and I'm pleased for them.
Yeah, it's Nate. Go ahead if you.
It's Endo, Gravenbach, Conte, and then you have Matip, you have Salvastar, and there was one more. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Are we calling him Slobosai?
Slobosai, yeah.
They always.
I like Salvastar.
He always gets
Sounds
his
very
names mixed
heroic.
up.
Those were maybe 5 then, but 5. I thought I had a 6 one somewhere in there, but yeah.
Okay.
There's-
Well,
There
you
you
can
go.
probably count Klopp, right?
There you go.
With
Probably count
Matip
Klopp.
being the weakest of them all.
Matip did all right.
I would say he's probably the weakest of them all,
He
but
also came from Schalke.
he's still a very good player. He's proved his worth. Just so you're aware, for a later discussion, they played a 4-3-3, Liverpool. And Wolves played a 4-5-1. On to the next games.
Why is that? And
You'll see later.
okay.
Yes, you'll see later. You coaching guys, you'll love the next discussion we have. But let's move on with the results. We'll jump into Aston Villa 3, Crystal Palace 1. This was at Villa Park. Villa, I got to be honest, in the first half, absolutely freaking dominated. They had a goal called off. Moussa Diaby took a ball down with his right foot, slotted it right past the goalkeeper like he wasn't even there, marginally offside. It is offside by letter of the law, so it's offside, but a very nice goal. Chris Richards, U.S. men's national team player, almost held him on. Goal ruled off. Villa could have had 3 or 4 goals in the first half, just a little bit unlucky, fluffed their lines a little bit. Crystal Palace did very well. Now, get into the early part of the second half, and Crystal Palace score a legit goal. Martinez, on his way to come out and collect the ball, slips, and Eduardo puts the ball through Martinez's legs. Either way, goal. 1-0, Palace are up. They then go and sit back a little bit, and Villa struggled. Villa could not figure out how to break Palace down in the second half. It was bizarre. It was absolutely bizarre. All traffic, one direction, one way in the first half. Villa, Villa, Villa. In the second half, Villa couldn't figure out how to get even near to the box. It was bizarre to me. Then all of a sudden, you play a long ball into John Duran, who takes it down on his chest. As the ball hits the ground, as it's coming up, volleys it, bang. I mean, this thing was rising into the top netting. It was an unbelievable goal from the 19-year-old, the former Chicago Fire player, and Villa back on level terms in the 87th minute. And after that, Crystal Palace had no idea. They were shook. They were absolutely shook. Villa went on to score 2 more goals, 3-1. Now I know. I absolutely know. I've seen all the arguments. I've seen all the discussions online. It's Crystal Palace. Calm down, Villa fans. It's Crystal Palace. Agreed. 100% agree. The only thing I'll say is it's nice to get a win, right? We were playing well. The other team scored. We've seen this before as Villa fans. We end up losing these games. This is, in the past 10 years, we end up losing games like this. So all of a sudden, get that win. It shows there's something different going on within the Villa club. Aston Villa has been transformed by Unai Emery. Yes, we have now won 3 games and lost 2. The 2 games we have lost to Liverpool and Newcastle are the top-level clubs that we've played. Our wins are against Everton, Crystal Palace, and Burnley, 3 lower-level clubs. Get it. Absolutely 100% get it. And I'm still all right with it. I'm liking the way we're playing. Even in the games we lost, we tried to come out and play real soccer, and it just didn't come off in those games, but it will later on as the season goes on. 4-4-2 for Villa, 4-5-1 for Palace. Yep.
I know I made a lot of jokes. I keep doing, just in life.
You jokester.
Yeah,
you.
Jokester. But no, you want to win. You want to pick up points. Those are the games you're supposed to win, that you need to win when you want to climb the table. The games that you kind of write off are the ones that you lost. Which were your 2 away games. You're away at, Liverpool. You're away at Newcastle. Yep. And, you almost kind of go, okay, those are going to be losses, and then you maybe get them on the rebound when you're at home. So, you can't really scoff at like, oh, they're losing. They're only winning against the bottom end of the table. Well, that's what you kind of need in order to kind of move up and rise up that table, and finish in a decent spot. Is not to drop points where you shouldn't be dropping points.
No, you're right. And I was thinking about this earlier, as people have said this online, calm down. You've lost against some of the big boys and you're beating up on the lower tier teams, we'll call them. I'm okay with if we play 19 games and we lose 6 but win 13, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take 12 losses and 26 wins. That's never going to happen like that. There's draws in there, we know. But you see where I'm going, right? I don't care, because you do that, you'll end up in the top half of the table, and I'm all right with it. And I think Villa are gonna get better. They are going to figure out how Unai Emery wants them to play. We've had a lot of new players come in, but Moussa Diaby, Nate, this kid is absolutely phenomenal.
Told you. Sorry. It's just
something caught in your
very
throat
dry,
today.
very
It's
dry.
strange.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. And I'll continue to say it through the season until somebody really truly understands it.
Nate's great at identifying Bundesliga talent. I know.
No.
I think. So, no, sorry.
I think you need to take those suspenders off because they're too tight.
They're cutting off the blood
the blood flow.
I feel nothing below my waist.
I think you look good.
That's normal.
Yeah.
Yes.
A real man admits when another real man looks good.
A real man wears leather pants, and actually, Danny always looks good, and I always admit it.
We
Do you want to switch places? We
I
can
say
switch places.
we do have to come back and hear the rest of Danny's thoughts here, boys.
Sorry.
I will say this: Unai Emery, traditionally in the past with the teams that he's coached, Sevilla and Villarreal, he has them well drilled. They're a well-drilled machine, right? And they're going to be well-drilled. And he's a fantastic manager. He gets the best out of his players, and best out of players that you wouldn't even dream of bringing in, really, to be honest with you, in clubs that you've never even really heard of. I watched the highlights of the game yesterday night when I got back from my coaching day, as I did with many of the other games that I missed, just so that we could, I could make comments tonight. And I thought Villa were unlucky in the first half, and you kind of wondered actually in the first half going into halftime. You're thinking, oh my God, they've dominated so much in that first half. What gives? Is there going to be a moment in the game where they really struggle? And it came in the second half. So when they scored 3 in stoppage time, or 2 in stoppage time, I thought they deserved that. A lot of people look at it and going, they got really lucky, but they didn't. They deserved it. Over the course of the game, they deserved it. His tactics, the way they set up, the way that they played. I thought they were really good value for it. And, I've said, Villa, not many people say this. And when I say it, people go, huh? What are you talking about? Villa are a big club, a really big club. And people don't realize that they are. They've won European Cups. They've won league titles. They've won FA Cups. Aston Villa are a big, big, big club in the English Premier League. So I'm actually, it's good for the Premier League that they've got a manager in there. It's an historic place. Villa Park has been around for centuries. It's a wonderful place to go and watch football. I'm pleased for the fans. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. It really pains me.
You're really trying to get this group expert tag.
I don't really.
Really.
He's going to be the Villa expert. Not
let me
Craig
tell
anymore.
you. Let me tell you. Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
It's my second favorite. If you say it's your second favorite club, I'll lose my shit.
No, my second favorite club.
Stuttgart.
1-2-1.
Stuttgart.
No, they came
No, it's
back.
Real Madrid.
They came back and they were 1-0 down against Real Sociedad, and they came back and they
I
had
told you
some,
they would win.
I do want to.
Stuttgart's a big club too. You could like them
Yes.
as well.
I do want to
Same with Brighton.
emphasize your point there. It's funny because I tell people, I'm an Aston Villa fan, and people go, "Oh, yeah, okay." They came into the Premiership a couple of years ago. People don't realize, Danny, that you are 100% right. They are a massive club in England. The following that Villa have rivals almost any club in England. It is very good for the country of England that Villa have come back into, we'll say, a little bit of prominence and are doing well because they are in the second city of Birmingham, and it is needed. All the other clubs in and around Birmingham are a little bit smaller. They play in the second, the championship, the second and third divisions. Excuse me, but it is good for the country. It's good for the sport. But they are a sleeping giant, and they have been for some time now due to ownership issues that we've had in the past 20 plus years. But I think they are finally back because we do have 2 gentlemen who are pouring money into the club. Now, what a lot of people don't know is Villa Park holds about 42,000 currently. Season tickets sold out like that. And we're about to knock one of the stands down at the end of this year and build an entirely new stand. And it's going to come close to 50,000, I believe over 50,000 once that stand is done. And then there are more additions planned after that. Villa have looked ahead and they've said, we can see what is coming in the next 5 to 10 years. We are going to maintain our stadium and upgrade the stadium as best as we can. So when major tournaments come here, we can have those at Villa Park because it is a central location. If you're traveling from the north down south, Villa is in the Midlands, in the middle of England, right? So, Danny, you're right. And it's
wasn't just location. Before the FA decided to do FA Cup semi-finals at Wembley, Aston Villa Park was a semi-final place. It was a semi-final place for the FA Cup.
You're right, and it has one of the most historic semi-final FA Cup goals, is it not? The Ryan Giggs goal.
Yeah, the Ryan.
I mean, that Ryan Giggs goal.
Replay.
And I love watching that goal. One, because it's a brilliant goal, and I loved watching Ryan Giggs play. But 2, you can see the terraces, and you recognize the iconic stands of Villa Park. So yeah, you're right. You're right. Brooks, you had your hand up.
Yeah. So some comments here. We got Andy Wagstaff, Danny's boss, and
Andy.
and
This-
cohort.
At this point, you have like the whole Liverpool coaching staff calling in here and watching the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, Andy made a great point. He said, great points. Danny Price talking some sense about Villa, massive club, and nice to see how well they are doing. Pretty sure.
Good old Wags. What a gentleman.
Yeah. So he's right on line with you there about Villa being a big club, and Craig is smiling right now.
I've been smiling all weekend, trust
Yes.
me. I thought it was going to be a terrible weekend when we went down 1-0 to Palace, and then we came storming back and won. A brilliant goal at the end. By the way, Chris Richards, U.S. men's national team player, did start for Crystal Palace. I believe this is his first start of the year. He played pretty well. He played well, but with the style that Palace play, they were just going to be under pressure against Villa. It was very unfortunate. He gave away the penalty in the 95th minute, I believe it was. I mean, just let's put it this way. When the tackle happened, I went, what a brilliant tackle. That he got the ball, then the player, and kicked the ball out. The referee called a penalty, and then VAR intervened and said, hey, you need to go take a look at this. And you seen the referee go over to the sideline. He looks at the monitor, and you could see they had the camera over his shoulder, and you could see what he was watching. I'm not kidding if you haven't seen this, folks. 2 minutes. The referee stands there for 2 minutes watching the replay several times from all different angles, and you can see he's talking to the VAR official, and they literally, from every single angle, they went, yep, nope, yep. And then you're thinking, what usually happens in EPL when VAR intervenes, they overrule the initial call. So in my opinion, I was going, well, I've seen the replay. I do think it's a penalty, but because VAR's intervened, it's probably going to be overturned. 2 minutes, 2 solid minutes, seemed like an hour, by the way, to us Villa fans. He comes back on and he says, no, that's a penalty. I'm happy with the decision I made. And as a team, we've come and said, that's a penalty. And I think he got it right. Chris Richards, when he slid,
Whoa. They got a VAR call right in the EPL, Nate?
I know. Well,
Wow.
it took forever, though.
Whoa. You're admitting
Forever.
this, too.
It took forever.
This is big news. Craig, you have really grown as a person this weekend.
Well, no,
Wow.
VAR usually messes up, but I will say
Wow.
it was what
in
was going on is on the one angle it definitely looked like Chris Richards nicks the ball, then takes out Ollie Watkins, the forward, and then kicks the ball again. But from the other replay, you can see that he actually is, millimeters away from touching the ball. It is so close. Just really unlucky for the kid. I'm really, really happy that Chris Richards got the start. I think he played well. I think he's going to grow into it, and I think he's going to become a starter at Palace. I really hope so anyway. So, anyway, Villa move up the table into 7th. We'll show the table in a minute. And why don't we move on to some other scores that happened. Fulham 1, Luton 0.
Tim Ream did pretty well, actually, statistically.
Yeah. Tim Ream did well.
Yeah.
By all accounts, not the greatest game in the world here. There were a lot of other games going on this weekend, and let's just go with Fulham 1, Luton 0. We'll talk about Mitrovic a little later as well, by the way, former Fulham forward. We'll skip over that one. West Ham United 1, Man City 3. You got your hands in the air, Brooke.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to read some. So Brian Ciaretta, who Craig did an interview for some Americans Abroad. Great interview, two-part series. Just Tim Ream's stats. So 90 minutes, 153 touches, 138 of 145 passes, 6 out of 9 long balls, 20 passes into the final third, 3 of 3 tackles, 4 of 5 ground duels, 1, 2 of 5 aerial, no fouls, and wore the armband for Fulham.
Yep,
It's not bad.
captain the club again.
Not bad for the 35-year-old.
Thank you, Mr. Roberto Aragato Brooks.
welcome.
Yes. So West Ham United go up 1-0. Man City comes storming back. 3 goals, win 3-1. Haaland gets a goal in the end. He peppered the goal all day long, was frustrated. Man City roll on and beat West Ham. West Ham at home on that one. Newcastle United 1, Brentford 0. Gotta be honest, watch that game. Boring.
Much needed win for Newcastle, though.
Boring as piss. Yeah, very much needed win. You are 100%
Yeah, Eddie
right
Howe
there.
needed that one. You don't want to lose. That would have been 4-0 if he lost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely needed that win. Newcastle needed it. But, sorry. I was bored senseless on that one. Sheffield United go up 1-0 on Tottenham. Now, this game, I got to be honest, at halftime, I saw 1-0 Sheffield United. Tottenham were all over them, just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. I may have logged into my DraftKings account and put some money on Tottenham to come back and win, and thank goodness they did.
Did you see the celebrations at the end of the game?
Well, I think I've heard a little bit about it, but
Oh
explain.
my God!
Like they'd won the World Cup?
they were celebrating and dancing, doing the whole little thing in front of their fans and all that sort of stuff at the end of the game. And they reminded me of Arsenal back in the day when they were celebrating fourth in the Premier League. Just you should be beating Sheffield United at home.
Absolutely,
You should be doing it in normal time, not in stoppage time either. You know?
With some controversy as well, by the way.
Right. So I mean, just like settle down a minute. Like you've beaten Sheffield United at home, a promoted side, which you should be beating them anyway.
Yeah.
Win's a win, Danny.
Well, but you should be
points.
beating a team that hasn't won anything in the Premiership, hasn't won a game in the Premiership.
By the way, Austin. No, what? No, that's Nottingham Forest. Sorry, Austin Trusty played for Nottingham Forest, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Yep.
You should be walking off the field and apologising to the managers, saying, "I'm sorry we left it so late, boss." You know what I mean? Just but you should be beating Sheffield United at home in normal time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you won the game in stoppage time, but walk off the field with a little bit of dignity instead of prancing around like a bunch of idiots at the end of the game.
I will say
Maybe that's the new mentality in Ange Postu. What I can't pronounce his last name.
Postacoglu.
Postacoglu's.
Say it
locker
one more
room.
time.
So what? So hold on a second.
Postacoglu.
So hold on a second. The new mentality from Postacoglu, whatever his name is participation medals at the end of the game. There.
Well, no, you won, and maybe it wasn't the sexiest way to win, or you probably should have won the game, like
Brooks,
you said.
you just
but yeah.
dropped $1 billion on a stadium. $1 billion on a stadium. You're supposed to be a top 6 side, and you've beaten a promoted side at home in stoppage time, and haven't played that well.
Does the stadium have anything
And
to do
you're
with winning
dancing
the
around
game?
like you've just won the 30, like you've just won the World Cup.
Yeah.
Well, does the stadium have anything to do with winning a game? I mean, because stadium doesn't really play the game, does it? It's the
No.
players in the field.
But if you've turned in a shitty performance, the last thing that the Postacoglu do, blah blah,
Postacoglu.
that one
Yep,
too,
I gotcha.
needs to be doing is to be acting like it was
I
a deserved barn burner win.
I'm gonna jump in here and agree with both Nate and Danny on this. Listen,
3 for 1 again.
Tottenham should be beating Sheffield United. Now,
What happens when you go 3 for 1 against Brooks? It's not good.
participation award. Yeah, maybe they got that as well. But not only did they win that, Ange Postacoglu, are we listening? Postacoglu. Okay, everybody's got it now. He was voted Manager of the Month for August, and James Madison was voted Player of the Month. for
Totally
August.
deserved.
Absolutely.
Totally deserved, both of them.
Yep.
Not taking that away from him. Totally deserved, both of them. He's come in there. Sale of Harry Kane's gone, so he's lost his star striker, and they've still performed, and they've performed well. And James Madison has been outstanding.
Did Richarlison touch the ball the other day?
Carlson scored.
Oh, wow.
But you don't need to dance around like
No,
you just won.
you're right.
The World Cup. You've just won the Premier League.
Yeah, it seems to.
They're
I agree.
happy.
I
Leave 'em
agree.
alone.
They're happy. They're winning a game, but you don't need to do that. I get it. But it is an interesting thing to think. They've lost the Premiership Golden Boot winner, the guy who scored the majority of their goals in the last several years, and now they're actually scoring more goals without him.
Different system, right, with Ange?
Different system. Imagine if he'd stayed.
I don't know. Would it be the same?
I don't think
Would
so.
it-
No, it wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't be the same.
Sometimes you need fresh people in there, and maybe Harry Kane understood that, and that's why Bayern
Harry
was the
Kane's
call.
sale has funded the next generation of players coming through for the new Ange ball, as they're calling it. I do really enjoy watching Tottenham play. For the past 10 years, whenever I tune into a Tottenham game and went, oh, God, this is going to be boring as piss. Not this year. Ange Postacoglu, again, for everybody who's paying attention, the Australian former Celtic manager, has really turned that club around. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the players of the club. Damn it, though, it had to be under Daniel Levy. I cannot stand that man. But anyway, yeah, interesting. Very happy. Listen, if you are a Spurs supporter, one, congratulations. Good for you. It's great to see your team actually playing entertaining football, and it is really fun to watch. Two, there's a local bar for you to visit in Metro Detroit, Dog and Pony Show Brewing. They show all the Tottenham games. A good group of people down there, by the way. Go out and drink. We're drinking the Colonel Lager again here. Yeah, brilliant. So thank you for Dog and Pony Show. I think I may be down in the Dog and Pony Show for this weekend to watch that the next Tottenham game. I'm not even sure who they have on tap. Brooks, you might have to look that up for me. But we may be there.
Oh, what team they're playing?
Yeah, who are they playing
Yep,
against?
give
you
me
know?
a second. Keep going. I'll let you.
Yeah, all right. So we went over the Newcastle Brentford game. We went over the West Ham.
I believe it's Arsenal.
Ooh.
It is
London derby.
9
See
a.m.
if they're celebrating at the end of that game.
Well, you never know.
You know what though, Danny?
He just loves opposing me, doesn't he?
He does.
He's just ready for the drop hammer.
Yeah. But here's the thing though. Listen,
You want to do this?
No. Hold
You
on.
don't want to get into a mic battle with me, son.
Are we rapping?
I mean, if you have to actually signal by picking up the mic that you're going to take someone down, I think you've already lost.
Get out of here, Nate.
I just naturally.
Go ahead, Craig. Continue.
All right. Listen. The North London derby is Arsenal versus Tottenham. That is usually a really, really good derby game. One I love to tune into. I think I may have to make my way down to Dog and Pony Show this weekend to watch that. Is that on the Saturday or the Sunday? Do we know?
24th.
It's the Sunday. It's the Sunday.
Yes, 9 a.m.
Yes. 9 a.m. game?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. I'm going to go to Dog and Pony Show Brewing. And I think I may have to root for Tottenham this game.
Chelsea Villa as well next weekend.
Oh yeah. It's gonna.
You'll be okay. You'll
Wait,
beat
hold on. Chelsea Villa is not like
Battle the Lions.
that's a win for Villa.
Yeah.
Based on the way Chelsea played today, it should be.
That's a win for
I think it's a win for any team that plays Chelsea here on forward.
We'll get to Chelsea shortly here, boys.
maybe not one.
We'll get to Chelsea shortly here. All right.
Even Luton Town.
All right. Before we get ahead to next week's games and the games that happened, you know what? Let's definitely talk about that. Let's go for it today. Today's games: AFC Bournemouth in the rain hosted Chelsea wearing their newly released mint green jerseys. I think we had opposing
like
views
them.
on that. I liked it. I thought it was good.
Danny doesn't like the mint green.
Danny,
I
you
like
didn't
it.
Mint green?
What is there
Minty
like,
fresh, Danny.
is
Minty
there a
fresh.
run on green jerseys? Because
Bizarre, isn't it?
Munich's like Munich Fest or Oktoberfest
Mm-hmm.
jersey that they rolled with this weekend
It's
was
not even
also-
October.
I like the design in that one, by the way.
It's close enough.
It's not even October.
Nobody knows what month it is because daylight saving time constantly is changing the clocks. So we could actually be in June for all we know. Danny,
Have you been to a store yet? They already have Halloween stuff
I
going
love
on.
it when you raise.
they already have Christmas going on at Costco.
I love it when you raise your voice.
Hey, Nate. Merry Christmas,
I'm a
my
short man.
friends.
Merry Christmas.
people tuning in right now are like, what?
What?
the F?
Yeah.
What just happened? Well, if they go to Costco, you got
Yeah.
the trees up, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right. So we just thought, well, just
Next week they're gonna
Breaking
have
news. Breaking news, by the way. Breaking news. I've just got a text message off Maurizio Pochettino.
Uh-oh.
6-month deal. 42 years old to play up front.
Because you can do better than Nicholas
because
Jackson.
Jackson's balls just landed at DTW.
Yep.
You must
I'm
have a good
telling
agent.
you.
Nah, you can trick anyone with Todd Butthead nowadays.
45 million for Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
what a
Oh,
steal.
what a.
Yeah.
I will say this. I can't believe they've spent $500 million over the last 12 months and they haven't bought a forward that can put the ball in the back of the net.
I mean, they just need to spend a little bit more money for a small club like Chelsea. They're almost there.
See what happens
They're
when you
almo-
need a scouting
almost there,
department.
Almost there.
Almost.
It's all about the scouting department that they don't
You
have
don't.
because
no,
they
I mean,
suck at analyzing players.
I mean, I've got a great agent, Brooks. If you want me to put in a good word for you, you can.
got
get
a good
the
agent,
scouting
too.
department. I'm sure
know.
you can, get some under 17 U.S. national team players over there.
yeah, or just do a better job recruiting the European players.
No,
they
he
suck
wouldn't
at doing.
He would get 0 US MLS players there because he'd just coerce them to staying in MLS for their entire career. You don't want to go over to England.
Yeah.
You'll ruin yourself. Never
Yeah,
be able
you-
to come back.
You
Keep
definitely
my
don't want to
love.
go there. It's rainy and stuff. Here, stay in the
Yeah, this is the
USA.
way to be here.
MLS is way better than
Yeah.
EPL.
You don't want to get paid to live in another country and have a once in a lifetime experience that will be life altering and changing.
And never
Screw
play.
That. Screw that.
And
Go
never-
to San Diego.
Look how poorly it worked out for Matt Turner.
Yeah.
Cade Cowell, his career is totally ruined. Never welcomed back. At
All
any
right,
club.
all right. We've gone down a rabbit
Cowell
hole.
hasn't moved there yet.
We've gone down a rabbit
Caden
hole.
Clark.
Germany.
Anyway.
Caden Clark.
Caden
whatever.
Clark. God, you
Caden
suck at this.
All right, listen.
I suck at this.
Bournemouth
Yes.
0, Chelsea 0. Pochettino just cannot turn that club around. It is a struggle right now at Chelsea. It's I just don't know. Yeah, Brooks?
Michael Tyson has a very good question.
Ooh.
It was for me, but it should be for all of us. Does Chelsea's recent failure somehow validate Christian Pulisic?
No.
Mm-mm.
No. Pulisic was injured for half of his time at Chelsea, so no, it doesn't validate anything.
Plus, it was several managers who came through and didn't play him as a starter. The only one who really played him was Frank Lampard.
Christian Pulisic, in my mind, is a wonderful, wonderful, talented player. I think he's thriving at Milan. I think he'll do great there. No, it's not. Appreciate it, Michael, but no.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed. I think we're all on the same page on that one. But yeah, Chelsea, woo-wee, struggling. Then why don't we talk about the Everton-Arsenal game? Arsenal won, Everton 0. This was at Goodison Park. Really disappointing display from Arsenal, if I'm being honest. They could have had a goal or two early on, ruled offside on one of them, player coming back. But overall, I think he went with...
He hasn't won there in 5 seasons.
Yeah, Everton have been a bogey team for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I think Champions League is coming up this week. So someone said that's why Ramsdale was on the bench.
Champions League is coming up this week.
But that's why Ramsdale was on the bench?
I don't understand that signing, Raya.
No, neither do I. It's horrible.
It'd be like United keeping De Gea and Onana when he signed Onana.
Right.
I don't understand it. It's 2 starting goalkeepers there that one played very well, in the Premier League for Brentford last year, and a starting goalkeeper that really, to be honest with you, I mean, we're not going to go down the international break rabbit hole, but really Ramsdale should be the starting goalkeeper for England.
100% should be.
So I don't understand that. I really don't. And he's like, today he's like in his, we're going to chop and change the goalkeeper. No, the goalkeeper is such an important piece to the back four.
Yeah.
You don't chop and change the goalkeeper.
He also had Zinchenko in the game, and he hasn't started him very much this year either. And I think Zinchenko, whenever he's in the Arsenal side, is the weak link. That man is the weak link to that club at the moment, in my opinion. It did not work out very well. Full disclosure, I bet money on this game. I thought there'd be more than one goal. I thought Arsenal would win. I thought Arsenal would dominate with how poor Everton have been. Sean Dyche had them set up and ready to defend. They did what Everton needed to do and just got a little unlucky. A very nice goal from Leandro Trossard today. But Arsenal left it late. And it was if I'm being very honest, a just poor display from Arsenal and a poor game to watch. That was a waste of my time. I want those 2 hours back. All right. We've done this on purpose. We've left the Brighton Man United game to the last. But before we talk about it, we are going to show you the Dog and Pony Show bet board. I do have a picture of it somewhere in here, Brooks.
Seagulls.
I do have a picture of it, I swear. It is. There it is. All right. As you can see, circled in red, Man United to beat Brighton. That didn't happen. Danny and Nate, you guys owe Brooks a 6-pack of beer. So, anyway, yeah, I know. Thank you to Dog and Pony Show Brewing. We love the beer, as you can tell. All right.
Do I get to have any of that 6-pack?
I mean, if Brooks would like to share with you, yeah.
Yes, I will share with you.
Oh,
Then it was a well-placed bet.
yes, that worked out well for you.
Coming up winner! Hell yeah!
I always share with friends.
Yeah.
You're my friend, Nate.
All right, but let's,
Can we drink
And I'm
Danny's
not.
beer too?
Just because we go head to toe sometimes.
We're
doesn't-
friends.
Head to head.
We are friends. Yeah.
It's
you
'cause
can
you
have
guys-
some beer.
Easy fella.
It's
I will
because you guys
share-
can look each other in the eye, and I'm short. You feel sorry for me.
I'll always share beer with you.
hey, Brooks,
You can have a beer too.
before you give beer to Nate, check his ID, though.
Fair enough.
Ah, a compliment.
All right, let's get to the game. I'm gonna say 3-1. Obviously, was the score. Brighton fully deserved this, in my opinion. Some excellently taken goals. They took their opportunities. I'm going to let the Man United boys discuss this. It does ruin weekends when your club loses. So, Danny, Nate, whoever wants to chime in, this is your club. Have at it, my friends.
Oh, you let me go? Okay. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the game, and then I have a quote that I want to read that really just it's impactful. So obviously 3-1. Credit to Brighton. They're a well-drilled team. I think they're such a fantastically well-coached team. I will say that De Zerbi took over from Graham Potter, which was already a fantastic team anyway, and he's got them playing a very similar way. So it's easy. The manager's backed by a wonderful backroom, good boardroom, good owner, wonderful fans, great stadium. So it's Brighton, well deserved, really, to be honest with you. United were good for 20-25 minutes in the first half, and then conceded really against the run of play, and the body language after the first goal went in was telling. It was telling, and telling from a lot of players walking in the press, walking in the way that they played. And I've got a lot of people say, sometimes you've got to stop blaming the Glazier family, and sometimes you've got to stop blaming the owners and focus on the players. And while that is true, I've got the greatest amount of sympathy for Ten Hag with all the external issues that he's really had to face over the last 12 to 18 months. Everything filters down to the pitch. The club's for sale, the club's not for sale. He needs to know what's going on. The fans need to know what's going on. The players need to know what's going on, because it does have a knock-on effect. I'm not saying that was a case for the performance yesterday. It certainly wasn't. But you can definitely see there's a mood around the club, and there's a cloud around the club that's just not a good one. We talked off air about 3 clubs that are really in trouble right now. Chelsea, Everton, and Manchester United, and they're all run really poorly. All big clubs in the league. So the quote I'd like to read was from Gary Neville, and Gary Neville is obviously he's an ex-Manchester United player, but more importantly than that, he's a world-renowned pundit for Sky Sports, and a very good one with Jamie Carragher on Sky Sports. And Gary Neville quotes, "Yes, the Glaziers are responsible. It's how it works. You own a business, and everything good and bad sits with you. They inherited the best in all areas. They've overseen 10 years of mediocrity off the pitch and on the pitch. They set the culture of greed, ill-discipline, indecision, and uncertainty that runs right through the club. It would be best if they sold the club with some speed and efficiency, and allowed at least the off-pitch items to be corrected properly that reset the tone and culture. Football is volatile, so the results on the pitch can be erratic and reoccurrent. But if off-the-pitch stuff, including the owner's direction and leadership, are spot on, it gives you a better chance to succeed on it." And end quote. I agree with the statement. I do agree with the statement, and I will say this, and then I'll be done. I'll turn it over to Nate. The calls for the manager to be sacked after yesterday's performance, and I think it's a very fickle way of looking at the game, and I think it's the most absurd thing in the world. You can sack him, fine. If you as an ownership and you don't believe in the results, sack him, fine. You bring in another top manager because it's Manchester United. But the same rinse and repeat story that we've seen for the last 10 years is going to continue. Starts from the top. They have to go. Murtaugh has to go. Arnold has to go. And the players that he doesn't want, or Ten Hag doesn't want at the football club, also have to go. And case in point, and we were talking about this off air, if you look at Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, in his very first season, 8th. In his second season, 8th. In his third season, 5th. In his fourth season, 2nd. He was allowed to go and get the players that he wanted. He was allowed to go and get the players that he wanted away from the club, even at a massive cost to the club. We just saw recently that Pepe went to some club in Turkey for almost a free, and they bought him for 72 million. Yep. So back him in the market with the players that he wants, back him in the market with the players that he wants to get rid of, because there's players at the football club that are there now that he doesn't want, and that's clear, whether he says that publicly or not. And give him the backing that he deserves. But there's massive problems at that football club, and it starts from the top down.
All right. Yep. Understood. I got some questions. We'll come back. Nate, your thoughts?
Well, I got I'm not going to add too much more and drone on and on and on. I would just say I thought for the first 20 minutes it did look good.
Sure.
And then that Danny Welbeck goal went in, and then you saw everyone's head go down.
Mhm.
But then they kind of came back, and then the disallowed Hoyland goal, I think, just absolutely broke them at that point. And that was just the turning point of, because when Hoyland scored that goal, you could feel like the energy go up, and then when it got turned around, you could feel the wind just get taken out. And I think you have a group of players right now, as Danny pointed out, that have caught in the middle of so much bullshit and drama that they needed a win. They were looking good. They needed something to be positive on. And as soon as that positivity went away, they absolutely disappeared. And you've seen it before in other performances with different clubs, and when not similar situations with other things going on, when things like that happen. So that's what the new manager bounce is all about. You get, it's going bad. You fire the manager, you get someone new in, and spirits are up until then things settle, and then it goes back to normal. So that's kind of what I saw, and I second everything else that Danny said. No need to beat a dead horse and repeat. No need to even yell at this point.
It's one of the first times I've seen a Man United team just be so flat, especially at home at Old Trafford. That goal that Brighton scored, where they started from a goal kick and 30 passes, and De Zerbismo scored. I'm sorry, but you allowed Brighton to come to Old Trafford and play the ball 30 times without getting close to it. Now, yes, the Glazers and the executives and the manager, you can say whatever you want there. For me, watching that goal go in the back of the net, the first thing I think of, if that's my club, I'm gonna kick someone. If that's me on the field, I'm gonna kick someone. They've just passed the ball on my home turf 30 times. I'm gonna kick someone. This now has to stop. Kick someone. There wasn't a United player who got anywhere close. So yes, I'm not going to disagree with you guys. I actually very much agree with you. But it looks like their heads went down and they didn't know what they were doing. It was just, this is one of the first times I've ever watched a United game and I went, this is different. This is really different. These players have they're either thinking too much, not thinking enough, not caring enough. I don't know. I will say that we've had United teams in the past that have been poor or not had the greatest of players in the team. But I got to think that Roy Keane was wanting to get on that field and go kick the snot out of someone after about the 10th pass from the Brighton team there. It was interesting to see. Again, I don't know where this goes for United because, to be honest, go ahead.
I think when you look at the past, right, and when you look at the past and when Sir Alex took over, and he had those couple of years of turmoil, before the Glazers even took over, there was the chief executive officer at the time, Martin Edwards, right, and Sir Alex working together. And then after Martin Edwards stepped down, it was David Gill, right, and David Gill took over. And it was when Sir Alex announced his retirement in May, the December before that, right, in 2012, David Gill announced his retirement, or announced that he was stepping down, and he actually went to work for UEFA. And then Sir Alex announced, so in that summer of 2013, after they won the Premier League that final year with the squad that was just completely threadbare, you've got the two biggest components of the last 20-odd years of the football club, even before the Glazer ownership, that are walking away. Right? So forget the ownership.
Yeah.
So the ownership have come in, and they've got David Gill and Alex Ferguson working together. They already had an established relationship in the way things run in the business, the way things run in the club. And you've brought these other guys in. You've brought in Ed Woodward, who was a finance guy, complete finance guy. Wasn't a football guy. David Gill was. Mm-hmm. And then you've brought in manager after manager after manager after manager, and there's just nothing been consistent. And now we're getting to the point where it's second season under Ten Hag, and if you look at second season under Ollie, it was difficult. Second season under Van Gaal, it was difficult. Second season under Mourinho, it was difficult. It seems to be a rinse and repeat trend. So the only thing that I can think of that needs to change, and the constant that is there, is the Glazer ownership and the CEO, John Murtaugh, and the recruiting officer, Richard Arnold. When or if that takeover happens, there'll have to be a cultural reset at the club. There will be. And that starts from the very top, and that's off the pitch. So when that happens, then, I fully believe that the mood will change, because at least there's some direction. And there's this, it's kind of like a stuck in a rock in a hard place right now. You don't know who you're coming into work for one day. And, there's all these rumors surrounding the club. And we're in a day and age now where the news media and all that sort of stuff, it's written whether the Glazers are selling, they're not selling, they want more money. And it's pure greed at this point. And I do believe it's having an effect on the players.
Well, whether it's having an effect on the players or not, they've been a bit lucky this season, because imagine if that call against Onana had gone the other way in that first game against Wolves and it was a penalty and they draw 1-1. They would be further down the table.
They could be winless right now.
They absolutely, because there was another call in the other game, they absolutely could be winless.
I mean, they absolutely could be winless right now, But and again, and I don't want to make excuses, right? I don't want to make excuses. But if you and correct me if I'm wrong, and please bring up any players that I'm leaving out right now. But you've got Varane out, Wan-Bissaka out, Shaw out, Solfram Arabat out, Mason Mount out, Anthony out, Mason Greenwood on loan. You've got a host of stars, a host of first-team players that he would consider first-team players that are out injured at this moment in time. And that's a problem.
Yep.
It is a problem.
Yep.
And I don't know whether the season last year with 65 games has finally caught up with them, but
Good thought.
there's a lot of players out. I don't even think yesterday, when you look at that 11, you're thinking, I don't even think that's his strongest 11.
No, it's not, because
no way.
McTominay should not be on that field.
It's not. The fact, and what's crazy is, and this is where Brighton have just got. This is where Brighton have just get so much credit on my part. The fact that you actually think that Scott McTominay is anywhere near Partey, right? It's just crazy. During that 30 pass move that we all liked so much, that
Go to the
he
first
ran
goal.
straight past him.
Go to the first goal. He didn't track Danny Welbeck back into that box. He let him run right by.
Midfield issues, and I look at Casemiro and I'm thinking, when he came in last year and he completely changed the midfield, and then towards the end of the season he looked lost, he looked tired.
Yep.
He looks awful this season.
Looks like he's running
awful.
in quicksand.
Just absolutely awful. And
yeah,
it's just it's one problem after another. Honestly, it's like a cancer at the club. Once you put out one fire, another fire pops up. So,
well, it's almost like if you're a long-term player, you sign for 4 or 5 years, right? And you're not too thrilled with the manager. You just kind of bide your time, because eventually he's just going to get fired now at this point, right? So they got what? Your average manager at United has what, a 2-year lifespan, 3-year, maybe at most.
I don't know what it's been in the last 10 years,
Yeah,
but 3,
it's
4
like
years.
every about 2 years you get a new one. So
Yeah. All right. Brooks, you've been holding your tongue and your hand up there. What's going on?
Yeah, so just a couple comments from people
Yep.
from our YouTube, watch on YouTube. Lone Boys FC says so the Glazers purchased the sexiest, flashiest, newest things on the market, and they continuously ran said things into new lows. And then we have this is Connor PP1 says Man United just seem to be mentally fragile. They let their heads drop too easily. I actually thought Ten Hag started to get that sorted last year. Once their heads drop, their efforts drop off a cliff. So some comments there on Man United.
You could easily see, and that was Brighton at home, right? That was Brighton at home, but you can easily see a couple of 5-6-0 drummings that happened last year creep into the performances again this year. You can actually see it. It's coming. You can see it coming.
Well, and it ain't going to get better, because Wednesday they travel to Munich for Champions League to play Bayern at home while Oktoberfest is going on.
If Ollie was in charge at this moment in time, let's say that Ten Hag was ill. Let's say he took ill. and they said, Ollie, we need you to go to Munich and we need you to manage it, I'd actually be okay with that. I'd actually be like, fucking hell, Ollie's come back in just for one game and he's going to coach the game against Munich, because he'd sit in and he'd sit in and hit him on the counter, and I'd be okay with that, because I think that's the only way that we're going to get a result. Yeah. I really think we need to go to Munich and sit in, absorb pressure, play a low block, and try and hit them on the counter.
Do you not think Erik ten Hag is even going to consider that? Because Bayern Munich right now, they've scored they've given up a lot of goals as well in the last several games. So they scored a lot, but they've got a top striker. They got a hell of a power force.
I think
forward line.
Yeah.
Don't think Ten Hag is going to sit in?
No.
They got this new striker over there at Munich, this Harry Kane kid. I don't know if you've heard of him at all.
He's brand new to you, huh, Nate? Yeah.
Never heard
of
Where'd he come from?
Yeah, it's a small club in England.
I'll be happy. I'll be happy. Absolutely happy if they walk away with a point.
Yeah,
I'd be over the moon. Over the moon happy.
I mean, a point going to Munich in the Champions League.
I'd be happy with
a point would be brilliant.
I'd be over the moon with a 1-0 defeat.
So I
actually think they're going to get slapped.
The one advantage that I think Munich has, or that there are some weaknesses at Munich right now. There's goalkeeper issues, which I have no idea why they loaned out the keeper that they have.
Sommer?
No. Stuttgart's keeper came from Munich.
Oh, okay.
And he's a loanee, and he's really good. So that's baffling to me why they didn't keep him. But anyways, they have right back issues, and they do have midfield issues. So
Munich and Bayern, yeah.
So it should be interesting. Yeah. But their forward line and their center back pairing is pretty boss.
Well, Champions League games coming up this week. It's lots to look forward to. Brooks, you want to say something there?
No. No. I mean, are we going to talk Bundesliga chat time more about Bayern, or no? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't run this ship. I'm just a happy sailor.
Okay, because I'm
sailing away.
I have my thoughts just after, because I watched that Leverkusen game.
Did you like it?
I did. It was a good game.
Didn't you?
All right, you
game,
two and your
Yeah.
Bundesliga. Chill out over there.
Hey, who else watched it? It was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game.
It was a pretty sexy game.
Yeah, it was a good game. All right, boys. We are going to take a very quick break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes here. Get another beer. Get some peanuts. We'll be back. Lots to talk to. Everton are being taken over by an American group. Whoa, an EPL team being taken over by an American.
Can't wait for playoffs.
I know, the playoffs.
Playoffs!
We're talking about playoffs. We also have a manager who was not suspended after being caught betting in the EPL. And we'll talk Bundesliga. We'll talk MLS. Messi-less. Inter Miami lost. We'll talk about it. All right. We'll be right back.
Tempo, yes, drop out, good, yes, touch play, right foot, yes, scan, good, touch in, play, drop your hip, right, yes, good scan, yes, Jay, well done, good side on touch, play, see it, yes.
All right, Brooks. We're at our favorite store, Soccer World in Rochester. We're just gonna do some light shopping. Nothing big. Ooh, pretty colors. Oh, and one of these too?
Ooh, Germany. Nate would like this.
Hey, Brooks, look at all these. Look what I got.
South America. Ooh. Wow, that's not MLS. Ugh.
Socks? No.
Ooh, a ball pump. Next in line.
Sir, you're next.
Right. That's a mannequin. You know that.
Huh?
It's a
Oh.
mannequin.
Oh. Sorry, sir.
Craig, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Huh?
Welcome back. Appreciate everybody sticking with us. We got a lot to talk about here. We're going to show you the tables real quick for a lot of leagues. We're going to talk about Everton's takeover. We're going to talk about U.S. soccer moving locations. We are going to talk about a manager who's been let off the hook by the English Football Association for who knows what reason. But before we jump into all of that, let's finish up our EPL talk by showing you the table. So as you can see, Man City still leading the charge after 5 games. Just a reminder, this is only 5 games into the season, 38 games. But Man City, where we all expect Man City to be, 15 points. They are 5-0-0. 14 goals for, 3 goals against. I mean, that's pretty incredible, to be honest, and they haven't even played their best football, in my opinion. Tottenham Hotspur, really well done. Again, love watching them play. North London Derby coming up this weekend against Arsenal. That'll be fun. Sunday, join us down there. Liverpool 3rd, Arsenal 4th. Brighton, Brooks, Brighton, your Seagulls are up to 5th. Congratulations. We all expected them to be in the top 10, but not quite that high. I know it's only 5 games.
So, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I said they'd finish top 5, didn't I?
You did. You absolutely did.
Yeah.
We got West Ham at 6. I don't think anybody predicted West Ham after 5 games to be 3-1-1, 10 points up into 6.
Boys.
Villains 7th. Crystal Palace in 8th. Fulham in 9th. Brentford 10. Newcastle struggling. 2 wins, 3 losses this year. We'll see if Eddie Howe can turn it around there. They're in 11th. Nottingham Forest 12th. There you go. There's Manchester United, as we just talked about. You heard that whole discussion, the problems they're having on and off the field in 13th. Chelsea down in 14th. Bournemouth 15th. Wolves down in 16th. Sheffield United, no wins, 1 draw, 4 losses, 17th. Everton. It is going to be a struggle this year. I'm telling you right now, it is going to be an absolute struggle. We're going to talk about them in a minute here. They're being taken over by a new American group, 777. They are, I don't care if they're taken over by, by Elon Musk. It's going to be a struggle this year. And there's Burnley, 19th, no wins, no draws, 4 losses, no points on the year. Vincent Kompany and Burnley struggling. I thought they'd struggle, but not quite this much. They have only played 3 games, so they are unfortunate so far. Luton Town, it's going to be a struggle, boys, for Luton Town. Fully expect Everton, Luton Town, and I think Sheffield United at the end of the season will be gone. All right, guys, listen. It's another English Premier League team have been bought by an American group. Everton are now being taken over by the 777 group. I believe they're out of Miami. They own several sports franchises around the country. They own several companies. You're probably getting Everton. I don't know the official price, to be honest. They're probably getting Everton at a really good price. Everton right now are in the middle of building a new stadium as well. That's close to £1 billion. That's got to be all included somehow. I don't know. But listen, Everton's playing squad right now is absolutely terrible. It's got to be one of the worst. They came to Villa Park 2 weeks ago and are probably the worst team that's ever stepped foot. Thank you, little bug. Stepped foot at Villa Park in a long time. They are going to struggle. They are struggling. I see them getting relegated this year. So 777 group, I wonder in your plans if you have contingency plans because you're going to be playing in the championship next year. Sorry to let you know that. You probably don't have very much money to spend in the January window either. Sorry about your luck. Brooks, do we have any stats? Can you tell us how many English Premier League teams are owned by Americans or groups in America?
So Everton become the 10th current Premier League team to have full or partial American ownership, meaning half of the league now has some form of U.S. ownership.
That is bonkers to me.
What else do you want to know about this?
That is bonkers to me. Now,
It's a private equity firm, no?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the 7-7 football group currently own Genoa in Italy, Vasco da Gama in Brazil, Hertha Berlin in Germany, Standard Liège in Belgium. Did I say that right?
Standard Liège.
Standard Liège, sorry. Liège.
I like Ligue, though.
Go with your pronunciation.
Ligue.
Thank you.
Okay.
Red Star FC in France, Sevilla FC in Spain, and Melbourne Victory FC in Australia. A-League, baby. Woo!
That's That's quite the conglomerate of football teams they own.
Yeah.
I am very surprised.
Yeah.
Now, not one of those teams, maybe minus Vasco da Gama, are what you would call a Standard Liège. I would think are probably a top team in their league. But outside of that, you don't have too many real top-level contenders, right? I mean, Sevilla, maybe. They seem to creep into the Champions League, but they'll win Europa most of the time.
Yeah.
It's a good trophy.
I mean, Red Star is always a good one.
Red Star's a great club.
Red Star is
Red Star Belgrade.
no, sorry, it's Red Star FC in France, not the one, not
Oh,
Belgrade.
That's different.
That's
Ooh,
different.
never
yeah.
heard of them.
Anything in
Correct.
France is crap.
Well, the A League in Australia is changing a lot. Like they're getting to promote Rel, and then I think they're merging with some of the New Zealand teams. So
Huh?
that's interesting.
I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to mute your microphone for the rest of the day.
You
Did
know what,
you
though?
just
I
tell me
think-
Hold
that
on.
the A-League
It's
in...
growing.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Lord.
I'm going to defend Brooks here. Back in 2020, when all the other leagues shut down and they were like running because Australia, I don't know if you know this, but surrounded by nothing. Like,
It's an island. It's a big island.
yeah. When I moved to Germany, I was like, oh, maybe I'm closer to Australia. No. In fact, I'm not entirely sure Australia really exists.
I've never been there, so I'm on
I think it's really, Arizona.
fantasy
Pretend,
island.
yes, thank you. So they were running. And that was some interesting stuff to watch when there was zero other sports on TV
Did you watch the A League?
that I had to. There was nothing else going.
Yeah.
And boy, was it exciting to watch anything but
I got
Tiger
nothing.
King
I
in
got
2020.
nothing. I got absolutely nothing. That
I'd
both
rather
of you
wa-
are now A-League fans.
I'd rather watch Brooks lift weights at the gym than watch the A-League.
What about me, lift weights?
Well, you and I's a different story. You
What
and
do
I
you
can
mean-
lift
you
weights
mean
like
Craig
a
lift
freaking
weights?
No,
champion.
you know what, Danny? I'm going to challenge this. Would you rather watch A-League soccer, Brooks lift weights, or lacrosse?
Oh, no. I have it. You have to pick one. You have to watch the A-League soccer or you have to listen to Brooks talk about lacrosse.
God.
Oh, good Lord.
Or you can choose death.
This weekend's the championship in the
Death.
PLL, by the way. Water dogs and archers, baby. Woo!
So the show has gone down and viewers have dropped.
Apologies to everybody who's remained with us.
Actually, it's never been higher right now.
Because we said the word lacrosse?
Yes.
Oh,
No.
By the way, though,
Oh.
that is true, though, that the A League may merge with the New Zealand teams, and they are
Lacrosse
going to
is
put in
ju-
pro.
Oh, that's awesome. The A-League's merging with another team I don't care about, know nothing of. Sweet.
Lacrosse is
What
just
about Cucking FC? How are they doing, buddy?
lacrosse is just a
Real team.
Will you let me talk? Lacrosse is just a fancy way of saying I'm not good at any other sport.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically.
I
I
don't
agree
know,
with
Craig
you. I
just showed
agree
some
with
videos, and Craig was like, man, that guy really hit that guy and crushed that guy.
Yeah,
So.
he swung a stick at him, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, interesting. All right, no athletic ability. All right, I don't know how,
Anyway.
I don't know how we got from Everton takeover
Because
to
they
lacrosse
take,
and A-League soccer in Australia.
Oh, it was
but
one hell of a
Here
jump.
we are.
we're jumping the shark on this show. We always do. We always jump the shark.
It's also nuke the fridge.
Is that an actual saying? Jump
Yep.
the shark?
That
Yep.
is a yes.
It
We
goes
just go
back to
so far off topic.
It goes back to the Happy Days episode where Fonzie decided to ramp and jump over a pool of sharks in Hawaii.
Happy days.
And it's actually been replaced by a term called nuke the fridge when in Indiana Jones 3, he hid inside a fridge that just got propelled
Yes.
like half a mile, hit the ground, rolled, and then he comes out live. It's the term for something completely ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can't see off camera right now, but our host, Craig Hearn, is actually looking around his desk for something to throw at Nate for this absurd,
That was an awesome. I love that fact.
absurd.
Where the hell have we?
You asked a
Are you just-
question, I answered the question.
He did. He answered it very
I'm
well.
sorry that Brooks and I had a moment where we linked up and
We did.
like became a symbiotic one unit similar to Venom.
A
Are you
symbiotic
sad
one unit.
You don't have
Hold
that
on
with
a minute.
Nate.
Symbiotic one unit.
Like Venom.
Unit.
Like Venom.
Like Venom.
Like Venom.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is welcome to the 1025 segment of We Are Soccer, where it gets weird. Really weird.
And everybody still has their pants on for once. Which
And we
is even
start
nicer.
talking about
Lies!
symbiotic. Oh my God. What's in that cup?
Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
I don't know.
He's drinking straight.
We're getting a wheel of randomness towards the end of the show,
all right,
though.
hold on. So
Yes.
listen. We have gotten to the point where there are now 10 official clubs in the English Premiership that are owned by Americans or conglomerates or partially owned by Americans. At this point, when the Premiership does a vote on any topic, and a new topic can be introduced by any owners, they need to have, from what I understand, a 50% vote. So we could be looking at playoffs or All-Star games.
I
in the
can't
near
wait
future.
for the All-Star games.
Yeah.
Similar to the MLS All-Star games.
Yeah.
And people are like, look, that player's struggling in some weird video game-esque surrounding scenario. And I'm like, yes, that European player is probably looking around going, what the hell is this shit? What the hell?
Can you imagine?
Why am I trying to put
get like that?
Why am I trying to put a soccer ball on a giant
The English-
dartboard? What's going on here?
English
What have I walked into?
The English FA is not going to let that happen, so they'll be fine.
Well, the English FA might not have a choice when the English Premier League teams start voting. And again, you need 60% of the vote. Anyway,
English FA, I think, is afraid of the Saudis, so they're going to do anything to keep afloat.
you might be right on that one.
So we kicked their butts in the American Revolution, and then we're going to take over their best sports league.
You are quickly going to be kicked off this show, my friend, if you mention that again. Onwards we go.
Am I not?
So
Am I wrong?
Everton,
No one likes a winner, Brooks.
Everton,
Am I wrong?
Winner.
Everton officially will be taken over, but again, I don't know if it's going to matter. They could find themselves in the English Championship next year. And unless they're willing to pour money in to the club in the right way, it is not going to be good. I do want to mention that Everton are one of the top 5 highest spending clubs over the last 10 years on players.
Who'd they buy?
Lukaku.
They had Lukaku for a while. Here's the thing. They actually
Richarlison.
sold Lukaku
sell him?
and Richarlison for major profits.
Ha!
Yeah,
Oh,
they
my
sold them
favorite-
for profit.
My favorite left back ever, Johnny Heitinga.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You are a strange fellow, my friend. All right.
Tim
listen.
Howard.
No, then Tim Howard. Tim Howard did
yeah.
well for them, yeah.
They had John Stones.
They made a hell of a profit on John Stones, by the way.
And Tim Howard, I think they probably got on a really good deal.
Yeah.
Landon Donovan on a loan.
Yeah, that doesn't go against like buying though.
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't count for the several £100 million they've spent over the last 10 years.
Barkley. What's his name?
Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
You're pulling out some one-namers
These are the big name signings.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are the
Yes.
big name signings. All right,
Yeah.
this is why we're moving on from Everton takeover. All right, so we do know there's been a rash of betting that's happened with players in the EPL in the last couple of years. In the last several months, there's been 3 players who are up on charges, about to be suspended, or who have been suspended. Ivan Toney is the most notable case. Ivan Toney was found for betting on 215 different occasions, and he was promptly suspended after the investigation for 8 months. Now, because of that, he has probably been prevented moving to a bigger club who have tried to look into purchasing him. It has sort of ruined his career a little bit. I think he'll come back. He'll be fine. But 8 months out of the game is a long time. There recently came out a report. I want to see if I can read this actually. A football manager who gambled close to £1 million has been secretly let off by the Football Association. At the same time, Ivan Toney is serving an 8-month suspension for breaching betting rules. As revealed by The Athletic, the manager, who cannot be named for legal reasons, had 8 betting accounts and admitted to being a gambling addict in evidence presented to the court case last year, in which 2 former footballers were accused of blackmailing him. Why in the F have the English FA let him off with no charges?
That's a lot of F's you had in a row.
Because it was
there.
Pep Guardiola.
You had a lot of-
Wow, Jinx, you owe me a Coke, baby.
You had a lot of F's. You have an F there.
Well,
F,
no.
off, F.
Oh.
I will say this: the only thing I can think of is it was a prominent manager, and they swept it under the rug because
Yeah.
why else?
Pep Guardiola?
I'm not saying it's Pep, or am I? No, but I'm saying it. The only thing I could think of is it was a prominent manager, because if it wasn't, I don't think they would give two craps about.
Okay, so let's pick our. So when was this, last year or this year that this has been
This
happening?
has been happening in the last 12 months here.
So which manager looks guilty that we'd pick that would be doing this? Because we don't know yet.
Eric Ten Hag.
I actually
there's 115 charges outstanding at Manchester City, and a manager that's a little bit wishy-washy about those charges. So I'm going to go with Pep Guardiola.
I'm going to say it's a manager not in the game anymore. The two footballers who are blackmailing a manager, I believe, were lower level players. To
Graham
be
Potter?
honest.
Interesting.
It's a good call, but
Big Sam?
yeah, it could be a Big Sam type player.
Big Sam looks
did
like
you-
he likes
did
to
you
gamble.
see-
Big
did you
Sam.
see-
looks like-
Bielsa?
Oh,
Bielsa?
That's an interesting one. If
Could
it's
be,
Bielsa,
right?
yeah. Because there are a lot of players who didn't like him and were, yeah.
Could be Bielsa.
Did you see that Graham Potter actually turned down the Lyon job?
Yes.
He was offered that and he turned it down.
Well, when you got pending charges, you don't want to take things.
No.
Yeah. What about Anthony?
What about him?
Anthony? No.
You said manager, not player.
This is
What about Brendan Rodgers?
He's a manager at Celtic.
Oh, he's not coaching right now. Currently, the manager that's being.
I think it's a manager who currently.
What if it was Jesse
Oh.
Marsh?
Please. Okay.
Ooh, that would be funny.
Can we have the first We Are Soccer segment where I'm praying? Hold on 1 second.
Oh, good lord! Here we go.
Please let it be Gareth Southgate. Please let it be Gareth Southgate.
What if it was Garrett? Yeah.
Oh my God! How funny would that
And
be?
he's betting on the Prem, which he has nothing to do
wait.
with.
You know what?
Which
Hold
he has
on.
nothing to do with.
Yeah, this is true.
About as good as our VAR conspiracy theory.
This is
The
true.
VAR truth, you mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
the truth.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but it is interesting that they've let him off without any charges. I think it may be that he's either retired or he's just left the game and is a pundit of some sort and has some sort of
Or he's
influence.
your national team
It's
manager.
probably Roy Keane.
He said manager. You're right.
Manager.
Hey, he was in the Irish national team a couple of years ago. It could have been Roy Keane.
No, I think they said it was a Premiership
England.
manager,
Yeah,
not
is it?
manager.
Yeah, is it
Mm.
Premiership?
Steve Bruce.
Tuchel.
Could be Bruce. Yeah, you know there were
Thomas
Tuchel.
Tuchel.
That's why he moves all the time.
Yeah.
If it was
Steve Bruce kind of looks like the guy that would have a little bit of a.
I swear,
gambling
Big
problem.
Sam looks like he likes to gamble.
Tuchel wears a hat that goes really low, like the guys they do, and they do the poker.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
can see
all right.
Tuchel at
You
the
know what? Great question for everybody watching.
Who do you
Who
think,
do you think it is? Who is it? Is it someone currently managing right now? A prominent manager like a Pep Guardiola as Danny
Lopetegui?
and-
Oh, we have a
Lopetegui?
we have a comment on our YouTube channel from Lone Boys FC that indicates a Mr. Frank Lampard.
Oh.
Ooh.
He has to go to Saudi Arabia to get the money back that he owes.
Wait, he didn't go to Saudi Arabia.
Steven Gerrard?
Steven Gerrard did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Are you getting Steven Gerrard and Frank
Steven
Lampard?
Gerrard doesn't know.
You
how
remember
to-
when you said I was
Steven
bad at
Gerrard's
this?
a scouser. He doesn't know how to bet.
You don't think so?
I do like.
Lampard has been
I do
caught
like
in
the
some.
guess. I like that guess
yeah.
of Lampard though.
Yeah.
That's interesting. He made some not very. There's a lot of people who didn't want to be friends with him towards the end of his Premiership manager.
Did we say Sean Dyche?
Sean Dyche is currently coaching at Everton.
Well, we think it's not a current coach, but could be a current
Craig
Oh,
is
yeah,
saying it's
yeah.
not a current coach.
Correct.
I think it's someone who has left
Yeah.
the game completely, so they've just left it out, and
I'm
he
curious.
is promising to not come back to the game.
Yeah, I'm curious what happens. And if one of our
Jesse Marsh.
30 guesses was correct.
You know, I don't know if we'll ever.
Maybe we should play the lottery.
We should.
Sorry.
What if it was Jesse Marsh? He was like, wait a minute, you can't do this?
He's got to give up a lot of tight pants. He's got to sell a lot of tight pants.
He's like, I'm not from around here. What do you
can't do this.
You can't do this?
I will say.
Go back to Canada.
was it Ralph
He's
Ragnick?
not Canadian.
Well, Fragment.
Would Ralph Ragnick be one that would
Could be Ralph.
Could be Ralph.
It might
So-
be Ralph.
Here's an
Yeah.
indication that I think it is a English manager. Some of the betting that the bets that he placed was on horse racing. And I don't see a lot of foreign managers placing bets on horse
There's a
racing,
lot of,
personally.
just speaking from experience and obviously friends that I know back home that are still in the game and still playing, horse racing is a massive betting component.
Yeah.
It is massive. You know, especially amongst professional players that actually have either bought horses that are actually in racing and bought jockeys and all that sort of stuff, and they're actually in the game of horse racing, or bet on it prominently.
Technically, players playing in the Premiership and in any capacity in professionalism in England, they're not allowed to bet on anything. That is the rule. They're not allowed to bet on even horse racing.
Unless they're an owner.
They are allowed to bet on it if they're an owner. That's a little bit of a weird technicality, isn't it?
I think if no, they're allowed. No, not in terms of betting. They're allowed to own a horse.
Yeah,
they're allowed to own a horse.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
allowed to bet on it. Right.
Yes. No. That makes sense.
Had
Yes.
horses for
Wow,
ages.
there is.
Yeah, Sir Alex owned horses for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a website that I had Googled EPL or English managers that own horses, and there's a whole website article dedicated to this.
Oh yeah. It's a big.
Sir
business,
Alex is
eh?
on there. Michael
Oh,
Owen. Yeah, this is interesting. So
Well, we lost Brooks for the next half hour, boys.
It's actually interesting thing. It's not called the horses. It's called the ponies.
the ponies. Yeah.
The ponies.
is that the proper English term?
Yeah, the ponies.
Going down the ponies. All right, we move on.
Yes.
So we've talked about a manager being let off the hook. Everton takeover. There's some rumors that have popped up this week about Greg Berhalter having a bit of an argument and falling out with Florin Balogun.
Shock.
I know. Can you believe it?
Shock.
So it was spotted that they were having an argument coming out of the Oman game at halftime. Florin and Berhalter were not exactly speaking nicely to each other. They were in a bit of an argument, and the rumors are circling that there is a fallout. Could we see a one-time switch from Florin Balogun?
He already did. No, wait. Well,
No,
technically, no,
he
he didn't.
didn't.
You're right. Yeah, because you're technically right.
Yes.
Do you know?
Send them back.
Send him back.
Can I just break away just for like 30 seconds? Just indulge me for 30 seconds, right? And this kind of goes back to the Berhalter situation with Pepe Reina and now, obviously, with Balogun, right?
Oh,
Is
you
it-
mean Giorena?
Giorena.
Gio Reyna, yeah. There
And the
was a-
Spanish goalkeeper.
There was, yeah. There was a. I was just talking to my mum and dad about this the other day, and obviously I follow ex-players and all that sort of stuff. And a couple of years ago, Rio Ferdinand started a company called Five, right? And
Yeah, there was a
they're-
very prominent magazine. And
Yeah,
podcast
prominent
he had,
magazine.
yeah.
He did a
It's very
podcast
nice.
and
I
all that
watched
sort
it
of
for a
stuff.
bit.
So he was just recently talking about the Jadon Sancho situation at the club and all that sort of stuff, right? And obviously, with him coming out and 2 foot in the tackle, the manager. If you all remember, I'm sure you guys do, the Roy Keane situation many moons ago, right? So he was talking about that on his podcast the other day, and he was talking about
Was I born?
well, it was Roy Keane had actually come out. It was a game against Middlesbrough where United hadn't played very well. Rio Ferdinand and Vidic hadn't played very well defensively, and Roy Keane had done the the post-match analysis of the game that was supposed to go live on MUTV, right, where he'd absolutely ripped to shreds the entire team, like including Ferdinand. And Ferdinand sat on his Five podcast show, and he's going, he's absolutely ripped us to shreds, And then the manager's got caught wind of it. Sir Alex has got caught wind of it that this thing's supposed to go out, and he's nixed it, and he's like, it's not going out, 100% not going out. And anyway, they've come into training the next day. The manager and Roy Keane have had a massive argument in the changing room. They've gone out and trained, come in the next day, and the manager's called a meeting, and the manager's turned around and gone, by the way, just want to let you know, lads, before you go out on the training pitch today, Roy Keane will never play for this football club again. Ever. And somebody turned around and goes, well, what did that tell you? And I went, it give me the heebie-jeebies. You don't want to piss off the manager. This manager is for real. You don't want to piss him off. I don't think players these days have any sort of authority, respect for their manager.
They don't.
No,
Absolutely.
They do. LeBron James started that in the NBA, and it's trickled down to every sport. Is he has no respect for his coaches, and nor do players for anything else anymore.
Yeah,
So.
it's just which with the Ten Hag Sancho thing, it's gives me so much respect for Ten Hag that he's actually trying to bring authority back to the club. But players like this is your manager.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have an argument with your manager at halftime.
There's no mutual respect.
No, it's just it's absolutely ridiculous.
So everyone remember last week when, I don't know, there's some guy over here going, I don't know, I want to just take some dude who just jump over from another country because when the going got tough, I won't need his shit to kind of be pushing on back on me.
What are you getting at right now?
If you got a bunch of prima donnas that just want to jump ship to another country, kind of like we were saying last week, that might not be the squad that you want taking with you, no matter how talented they could be. That's what I'm getting at. If you
Balogun
couldn't
does
read
seem like
into
a
it,
bit
let
of
me
a
let me
prima donna.
really spell it out for you. I don't need some dude who came over here on a campaign because he couldn't cut it in another league or nation, asking me to play and asking to be wined and dined. You're either gonna put on the jersey with the country logo on it because you're from here and you have a lot of pride and you want to play, or you can leave.
Well,
I'll rebuttal to your what you said.
Go
is that
ahead.
You had a more manager that was more well respected, like Thierry Henry or Patrick Vieira.
Terry
than-
Henry's
What
not
in the
Terry
F?
Henry's not respected, so you just lost your argument there.
I
And
think
moving on.
Florian Balogun would very much respect one of the greatest strikers in European football.
And I could give a crap what some dude who couldn't cut it in another country decided to jump ship on a campaign tour and said, "Oh, I felt the love."
boys, hold on.
Thanks.
We may have to have an intervention at some point with Brooks about Thierry Henry.
He's a shit manager.
being
He
a
has done
manager.
nothing.
He is not a good manager. He's an okay pundit, to be honest.
And he's
Brilliant.
a
One
great
of the
player.
Best players to ever play the position in the last several decades. But
I do like
as
him
a
as
manager,
I do like him as a pundit, though.
nah,
I like him as a pundit.
he's,
a good pundit.
he's awkward as a pundit.
He has his own style. I like him.
I think he's funny.
Yeah.
Great player.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
There's no question,
Oh,
right?
what? Like,
Lost three locker rooms,
Oh yeah.
like,
and has a losing record.
Has
I'm good.
A winning percentage of like 32%.
I'm good.
player, but
We-
like,
we
know,
did
like,
this
tell
all
me,
before.
Tell me a world class. Like, we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago about what the difference is between world class and
Yeah.
he is world class as a player.
Oh yeah. There's no question.
Absolutely world class. Love watching him play. Hated watching him play against Man United.
Yeah.
Love watching the guy play. What a player.
Yes.
Terrible manager.
Yeah.
Tell me what world class player has actually been really good as a manager.
I've got one for you.
Yeah.
I've got one. Just one single one. And I don't know if it's because he just went straight to the top level and went straight to and could have as much money as he wanted. Zidane Zidane.
I will give you one.
Not Zizou?
I'm going to put an asterisk on him because he inherited a rule.
No.
I'm going to give you one that is still to be proven, but is doing very, very good. Xavi Alonso is doing very
No, I do believe that. Xavi Alonso's
Yeah,
doing
he's
very
done
well
well.
at Leverkusen. I
Well,
will give him that.
Was
but
Xavi
Zizou-
Alonso a really top level?
No. Xabi Alonso was
He was pretty, yeah.
like
Spain really
arguably
was.
arguably one of the best 6'8"
Yeah.
in the world in his generation.
Played in
Well,
multiple,
okay.
successful in multiple leagues.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely brilliant at Liverpool. Him and Steven Gerrard were
He won
So
a World
you-
Cup.
the old
Then you've
five-
got. Then what
the
about
05
what
team.
about a Xavi at Barcelona? He's doing the same thing there. He's doing very well. He's taking a club that finished very poorly. and is
Yeah, no, I
taking-
mean,
with
like,
limited resources, to be
Xavi's
honest.
absolutely fantastic, right?
Okay.
But there's a very small percentage of managers that have actually done very well. Zizou,
But
I will speak about my Real Madrid as my second team because
Yeah.
Real Madrid's my second team, and it always has been. Zidane, and I disagree with your comment, Zidane took over a team that they weren't firing on all cylinders at the time. They weren't. And he got them firing on all cylinders. And to win 3 Champions Leagues back-to-back, that's generational talent. That's generational management right there.
You're telling
know.
me that Madrid team wasn't stacked?
It was stacked, but they weren't playing well at the time.
When
Barcelona was still winning the league at the time.
But I think there's a huge difference between him, a huge difference even between the Barcelona coach, who, yeah, he is Xavi. He doesn't have limited
The
resources.
guy won 3
See,
Champions League back-to-back. Pep doesn't have even done that. Pep hasn't done that, ever.
Yeah.
And Pep's had better teams than him.
Well, yeah, because Pep's, I think, overrated. Anywho,
Can
Just
I
saying.
get a cattle prod?
he
Just
didn't win
one
the
each arm?
Champions League
let's-
with Munich, did he?
Let's bring it back to where we were going with this. Well, we
I
circled
think
around.
Xavi Alonso is better than all those two for
I
what
think
he's
Xavi
doing
Alonso
with
is
less.
a brilliant player, but I don't know if he's
Superhalter.
world level like Zizou, Ronaldo, Messi, the
Cruyff was a good-
top 10 ever. But I do put. I got to be honest. I put Thierry Henry up in that top 10, 20. We should have brought that freaking list that Luke Zagorski posted on the Facebook group.
Only couldn't read.
Though, yes, it was very small, but
I couldn't read that.
Yeah, Harry Maguire was 101 on there, by the way. It just wasn't listed.
Anyways,
Anyway,
Berhalter
but
and-
Thierry Henry, we're gonna have an intervention, Brooks. Thierry Henry?
I said he's a good figurehead coach, and you let his assistants do all the other stuff.
We've
The
done
biggest-
this.
the
We've done
biggest-
this all before. Can we just move on?
Let's
Bigger
move
question.
on.
The bigger question for next week,
Yeah.
right? And maybe not for next week. So let's table it for the next international break. But the bigger question is why Greg Halter coming back? Why? Why is that decision? Because I want to delve into that a little bit more. I want to talk to Brooks about it because it is an important topic. Why? Why, when they were playing so well under BJ Callahan, why bring him back? So let's table it for a couple of weeks in the international break in 3 weeks'
Someone
time.
put it on
You
the
can wait till
board.
October.
Let's
Why?
talk about it. Yep.
You got a board everywhere there. You
I've
know?
got 4 boards. It's just not written. I'm saying
Yeah.
someone put it on the board, so we can read it. My
Are we
handwriting.
getting a wheel of randomness?
No. This will be a really good topic. I agree. But the Berhalter Balogun thing has fired up, and it's interesting now. I think it might just be rumors. One of the items I will say is, Danny, you mentioned it earlier. Don't argue with your manager. Do not argue with your manager in any capacity. Do we remember in week 1 where at halftime Pep was absolutely giving it to Erling Haaland?
Yep.
Giving it to him. And we're all wondering, well, he's actually played pretty well. He scored a goal. What's going on there? And what did Erling Haaland do? He walked off the field nodding his head. Yep. I hear you, coach. Yep, I got you. What they did in the back room, arguing, yelling, screaming, punching, none of my concern. They kept it behind closed doors. But a very smart move by a very young player who is probably one of the best players in the world right now. Just all he did was nod his head. Yep. Gotcha, coach. Yep. Gotcha, Pep. Yep. Smart move. That right there is what top-level players do. And they do what they say their coaches say.
His dad, played professionally. Obviously, not unfortunately, career cut short because of injuries. But I mean, you come from a dad that played professional soccer. There were probably high expectations for him to. His dad probably said, "Hey, listen, your manager's your manager."
I will. I'm going to actually agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I will say that
there was a funny story about actually a former player that was at Villa, Ashley Young.
Oh yeah.
Now at Everton now, right?
Yep.
So it was kind of on the back of the Rio Ferdinand video about the fact, Sir Alex and all that sort of stuff. And did you see this interview with?
No, I
with
didn't.
Ashley? Oh, it was awesome. So Ashley Young's like he's talking to this reporter and all that sort of stuff, and it was on the back of Rio Ferdinand's 5 interview about Sir Alex Ferguson, right? So Ashley Young has Sir Alex Ferguson's telephone number in his phone, and it says the boss, right? So whenever Man United players, Gary Neville, Beckham, all that sort of stuff, whenever they refer to Alex Ferguson, it's always the boss.
Yeah.
Right? It's always the boss.
Out of respect, right?
Yeah, out of respect. Yeah, it's the boss. He turns around and he goes, it's so funny actually. He says like I've got him in my phone as like the boss, and like whenever he calls or he sends me a text message, it comes up the boss. I shit my pants because I think I've done something wrong.
Yep.
Like I think I've done something wrong and I have to respond to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like so. That's the respect level
that
you have for your manager. Like they all call him the boss. Right? Do you not call Sean Dyche your boss? No, he's the manager. The boss is the boss, like the manager.
I'm going to give you guys an example. So, really quickly, my dad is a former professional soccer player, played in front of 80,000 people every week, right? The man has played at the top level of the sport in 2 or 3 countries. We moved here to America. I, at a very young age, was a very good player. I went to a team, a high school team, that the manager was a science teacher. He didn't have very passionate, very nice guy. I won't go down too many roads, but I came home several times after practice and said, "What are we doing at practice? This is ridiculous." And why did he pull me off at halftime? Or why did he do this? And my dad said, "Yeah, he's the manager. You do what he says. It's his team. You play for it. Learn it. If he doesn't want to play you, if he wants to play you at left back, if he wants to leave you at home, I don't care if you think you're the best player. You play for him. It's his team. Get used to it." So trust me, I absolutely get it. But what I'm saying is I don't think young kids these days have figured that out. No. I think you've got people like Flower and Balogun. I think you've got other players who think, look how many followers I've got on Instagram. Look how much money I earn right now. I'm going to argue with my coach. Jadon Sancho, great example. Danny, he two-footed his freaking manager on Twitter right after a conference. You know what? Jadon Sancho, shut your freaking mouth. and the boss is the one who
and
makes
he's
the
done.
decisions.
And he's done. And it came out in the press conference this week. You know, his wiki presser. You know, it was the first question that was out of his press conference. Actually, it was just like, you know, Jadon Sancho's obviously, you know, he's come out and made these comments. You know, what is he? You know, and Ten Hag was just like, look, you know, he's not available. That was it. Simply not available. And then we see a picture on Instagram that he's out there watching the under-18. So, you know, he's obviously been trained away from the first team, you know. And when you come out and attack the manager like that, right, you show a complete lack of disrespect, you know, to the manager. And, you know, you show a little bit of disrespect to your teammates as well, because at the end of the day, that manager is trying to enforce rules and a culture and, you know, and something that is really important to the dressing room.
Yeah.
When you break it, there's consequences. You know, and yeah, he took down his tweet and all that sort of stuff, but he still hasn't apologized for it. Whether he's not apologized internally or whether he's not apologized publicly, he's still training away from the first team, and that is going to be the constant.
Brooks, I'll let you talk, then I got one more comment on this.
No, just for me, I see it in the American youth game all the time. I think they watch all these young players and they see them disrespect their managers or make a comment to the press or whatever, and I think they feel like it's okay that they can do this. I mean, every weekend I always see some youth player, when the coach is giving them directions or wherever, they turn and they just clearly ignore them. Yeah. You know, it's just disrespectful. Like, it's someone trying to help improve your game, and this is at the youth and collegiate level. That's both. You know, you need to respect someone that's trying to help you, and it's just like something, you know, I was always taught to respect your elders. You know, respect people that are older than you.
That doesn't happen that much anymore, does it?
It's so strange that you say that, because I had a game this weekend, a high school game, and obviously we're on air, so I won't name names, you know, but I'll give you a situation, right? You know, I had a situation this weekend that I was coaching against my son's team at Heartland High School, and one of my own players, you know, we were playing a particular system, and we're talking about, you know, certain types of runs that the forward was potentially supposed to make, you know, based off the fact that we were winning the ball early in the midfield. The forward wasn't making those runs, you know, and I brought him off. I brought somebody on and I brought him off. And as he's coming off the field, you know, in a high school game, and it's taking a little bit of time to come off the field, and he's shaking his head and all that sort of stuff. And rather than berate him in front of his teammates, I let him get a drink of water and all that sort of stuff, and I brought him over and I brought him quite close to me, and I said to him, look, you can shake your head all you want. I have expectations of you as a forward. If you're not going to do those things, you're going to come off, and I'm going to put somebody into the game that can fulfill those expectations. And to his credit, he said, you know, okay, coach, and went back out there and, you know, and provided, you know, those runs that I was asking for. But I don't get this authoritarian kind of pushback. I don't get it.
They do it. College, it's super bad a lot, and same with the really young players. I see it all the time. Like, I saw it today in a game where the goalkeeper made an error in today's game, and the head coach was like, you need to do this, and the kid was just looking straight, wasn't even turning his head to look at the instructions, you know, before the kickoff was. I'm like, when someone's trying to instruct you with something, you need to listen, and it's just a turn of respect, and that's just how society, and kids don't, it's not like that anymore for kids, unfortunately. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yep, that's the world we live in at the moment. One other thing we're going to talk about with U.S. soccer, they've moved. The house for U.S. soccer has now moved from Chicago to Atlanta. Interesting decision there. In previous years, U.S. soccer had actually asked all head coaches, U.S. soccer head coaches, Berhalter and women's head coach who was just let go.
Androvich,
to live in and around Chicago for meetings. I think that rule has now been done away, and U.S. Soccer, the federation, is now moving to Atlanta. I don't know what that means, but duly noted, interesting for whatever reason. All right, I do want to make sure we get to some of the other leagues. The Bundesliga, that fired back up. Nate is one.
Good morning. Sorry, I fell asleep. We were talking college soccer.
Yes.
Didn't care.
Nate is one happy boy.
Thanks,
as
Nate.
his Stuttgart. Man, Nate, what is going on with your Stuttgart? 3-1 winners.
We're good now.
You're good now.
Yay!
Schießenwasser.
Yeah.
Yay!
Was that real German?
No, I have no idea. Yay!
It was. That was real German.
What did it say? I want a water? Is that what it said?
I am very thirsty.
Shoot the glass.
Shoot the glass.
But before we get to
the bathroom,
before we talk to about my Stuttgart,
yeah,
my glorious Stuttgart, I'm gonna chime in with Brooks here because Brooks, you saw a game.
did.
Saw a game that I said was going to be very good,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think it disappointed, which is Munich versus Leverkusen.
And this was like there was only one league in play on Friday after coming back from international break.
Oh, the championship was back, but
No one cares about the championship.
All right.
Xabi Alonso masterclass, I will say.
It was
went down
bizarre
the
to see
wire,
the
too.
Bundesliga start up on the Friday after games are just finished on the Wednesday.
That's their normal
So,
schedule. They don't deviate.
And man, they do not deviate away.
Nope.
All Premiership went, and even Jurgen Klopp was complaining that the game on the Saturday was a 7:30 a.m. kick.
Greg,
Eastern.
Greg,
12 for him.
in Germany, the trains run on time.
Yeah, I know. Okay, sure.
The schedule is the schedule.
Yes.
The
All right.
schedule is the
Well-
schedule. So
Well,
yeah.
It was
So-
Bayern Munich back against
Yep.
Bayer Leverkusen.
Yep.
And what a game, huh?
it was a fantastic game. Kane had a goal. Looked
Very
good.
early on too.
Yep. And then Leverkusen came firing back with a fantastic free kick that just went over the wall. And their goalkeeper, Leverkusen goalkeeper, was making a ton of saves. This Decky, he was making a bunch of saves for Munich and just basically kept him in the game. Towards the end, Matthias Tells came in, who I think will inevitably be Kane's replacement in a few years. Played on the left, which is actually a little bit surprising. Cut inwards, played a great ball to Goretzka. 86th minute, they score. Everyone thought it was over. Everyone thought Munich was winning. Hey, early celebrations for Oktoberfest. Here we go. And then Leverkusen is able to get a penalty. A little bit soft. Ironed it out.
I don't think it was that soft.
A little bit soft for Germany. Maybe in your Premier League.
I don't think it was that soft. I think it was a stonewall penalty.
That was the one they-
Palacios put away really well.
Yeah, he put it away well.
That was the VAR call I texted you about, right? Yeah, that was the right call.
That got
Oh,
it. No.
VAR worked in Germany.
VAR works in Germany.
And
you,
MLS.
and you said it was soft.
I thought it was a little soft.
It was a great call.
I thought
It was.
That's just me. Hey, just me. I'm a defender. Hey.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great game, real back and forth. Leverkusen played out of their skins, and it shows you really what that team has they're capable of going to in the Europa and what they're looking to do in the league. And actually, they're sitting first right now. So we'll see how long they can keep that.
Well-
And they went into Munich. That was their away game into Munich, and they were able to take 2 points off what inevitably usually is a league leader there. Other stats, other goals, and games.
Please get to Stuttgart and talk about the Guirassy hat trick. Come on.
So hold on. A fun player to watch is actually that Xavi Simons, who's Loney over for Leipzig. He scored again, had the first goal. Hoffenheim had one of the better goals of the week, where it was a 60-yard free kick or a 6-yard hit because the goalkeeper came out and slid out. And they just buried it. They had a good win. And on to the main event, the Stuttgart, the Galassi
The main event.
hat trick, the main event. And otherwise, what would normally be, a nothing burger. Mainz versus Stuttgart. Stuttgart away. The players even said, hey, we want to make this a statement match that we can win away, because the last time they went away, they went against Leipzig and got bone crushed. And they performed very well against Mainz away. Scored early on, and then Mainz came back and had a goal. It's this weird deflection off several players, and then beat the goalkeeper. It's like pinged around and then went into the near post. And then Galassi just absolutely turned it on and had
The last 5 minutes.
several goals.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes Stuttgart were fantastic.
They were good throughout, but yeah, last 5 minutes they really put that the foot down there, and really came out and won. So good games all around. Guess who's back, Brooks?
Stuttgart
No, guess who's back, Brooks?
back again.
P-Fox back.
Oh, P Fox back. Should we
P-Fox
tell a
back.
friend? Yeah.
Playing for Gladbach. Went down early for Darmstadt.
Yeah.
P-Fox came back. Actually had a goal to lead it back with Gladbach coming back with 3 goals against Darmstadt. So all in all, a lot of goals scored this weekend. A ton of them, and
There
a
was
lot of action.
a lot of goals in the Bundesliga. We're going to put
yeah.
up the table again here. There you see it. Bayer Leverkusen at the top of the table.
And they're playing well.
They are
it's
playing
just,
very well.
It's a fun team to watch.
Xabi
you
Alonso
know?
with that team going well. Bayern Munich second.
finish
Stuttgart in fourth. Leipzig in third, as we see. Hoffenheim, Wolfsburg, Borussia Dortmund struggling a little bit. 4 games, only 2 wins. I'm sorry. 2 wins, 2 losses. Draws, excuse me. And down the bottom of the table, Mainz.
And actually, all of the teams that I want in the top 4 or 5 are right there.
Yeah, it's always very, very heated and close. And I will say, actually, going back to the Leipzig game, Wirtz hit a post, looked really good. Boniface had 3 opportunities to win.
Yeah.
Munich was actually lucky not to lose that game that day because Leverkusen actually had towards the end had way more chances than Munich, and they got some players to watch. They got some players that are being looked at some of the Prem teams. From Opang, Boniface is on name. Verse has been kicking around, so. We'll see how they progress throughout the season.
Yeah, as usual, we always say keep your eyes on the Bundesliga because you see the eyes of the stars of tomorrow. Of
Basically,
the Premiership.
Yeah,
which is proving Diaby,
Holland,
Soderslei.
One wheel of randomness question.
One
We
wheel.
could, but I do want to make sure we show the other tables here. Hold on, real quick.
Nobody cares about tables.
I do want to show the La Liga table. We got Barcelona and Real
I
Madrid.
care about my
Para
J.
Dios, Ramos.
Yeah, what he said. I don't
I care
know.
about my
Vamos!
J. My J.
A la
League
Madrid.
table.
Real Madrid. Real Madrid. Shortly back there. This actually, I think I needed to take another screenshot. But as you can see down below, Sevilla. Sevilla struggling.
Yeah.
Man. Sevilla. Come on, Sevilla. What's going on? They actually sold a bunch of their players and haven't restocked, so it could be a real struggle for them. It is a bit of a struggle. Let's show the MLS table here. We have MLS. Here's the Eastern Conference. Oh, my gosh. So Miami did lose last night. Messi-less Inter Miami down at Atlanta. Actually got pummeled. As you see, it's going to be a real struggle for Miami to make the playoffs. We'll see if they can do it. Here's your Western Conference. St. Louis still leading the pack by 6 solid points, man. Down below, Colorado Rapids had a big walkout this past weekend. The supporters are not happy there. Stan Kroenke is not putting money into the club, has not put money into the club for years. The supporters are not happy. Horrible team. They're sick and tired of it. I think they walked out in around the 22nd minute, I believe it was.
20th minute.
20th minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to be honest. If you're that unhappy, just don't show up. Don't show up. Don't even get there to the 20th minute. Just don't show up. Yeah. Boys, do we want to do one wheel of randomness or do we want to leave it for next week? We are 11:01.
We should do one.
Do one. All right. I've been outvoted. We're going to do one wheel of randomness question. Brooks is going to spin the wheel of randomness, and whatever it lands on, he is going to ask us that question, and then we will be out. All right, Brooks, have at it.
All right. After the success of Rob and Ryan at Wrexham, what 2 celebrities should go in together to own a soccer club?
What 2 celebrities would I like to see own a soccer club? That is an interesting question. 2 celebrities. All right, boys, let's be quick about it. Danny, Nate, you guys want to go? You have anybody in mind?
George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good one, yeah. Ooh, they'd really
To take over Fleetwood Town.
Oh.
random, but okay.
Or Blackpool FC.
I like that. All right, okay. Nate, you got anybody?
The Rock and Kevin Hart.
Yeah, that would be really good too.
All right, well, okay. All right, The Rock.
And they're going to take over Brighton.
All right.
And they're going to fire your manager because he's shit.
Whoa.
And then they're going to hire a one Jesse Marsh because they're American.
Oh, God.
And then they win the league.
Brooks, you got anybody?
I got the 2 best ones. Tom Hanks and Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, that is a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to take over Manchester United, and they're going to make your club
Sweet, awesome.
great.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a good one.
We're excited about this.
Yes.
I've got the team that I want to see taken over, and I'm struggling to pick who I want to have lead who I want to have take them over. Oh my. Yeah, I don't know. This is a great question. Who do I want? I don't really even know too many celebrities anymore.
You don't know any celebrities.
No, like I don't know.
It can be musicians or whatever, you know.
Yeah, what musicians? Let's go.
Big
with,
music guy.
Yeah, not really anymore. No, I don't know. I got nothing. I really got nothing on this one.
Hi, Craig.
Yeah, I'm
I
useless.
have two people.
Well, if you've got nothing, let's end with a comment on the YouTube page from Lone Boys FC.
Yeah, let's go for it.
He's upset because we missed the Milan derby to talk about, and it wasn't really a derby, to be honest with you, because AC Milan kicked their ass. So it was
Nope.
No,
Other
Inter.
way on.
Inter. Sorry.
Inter Milan have now won 5 in a row for the first time ever in that derby in the history of
Did you
the
not
derby.
see the
four-
heat?
was
Did
it
you not see the
4-1
heat
today?
map I sent?
5-1.
5-1.
5-1,
Wow.
I believe. Christian Pulisic and AC Milan.
Yeah.
Ooh, they got their butts kicked. Inter Milan is just doing some absolute damage in that league. They are proving.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest for our viewers at home. Like, I mean, Serie A is like it's like the 5th or 6th division that I watch, right?
Yeah. I
Something like
pay
that.
attention to it because some of the players are there and the big name clubs. But besides that, no, I don't pay attention much to it. I think we go through the Premiership, the Bundesliga, La Liga, MLS, and I check in on the scores and the headlines. But besides that, yeah, same with you boys. Yeah,
The Pizza League.
is that what you're calling? Is that what we're calling it? The Pizza League?
Yeah. Did you not see my heat map I put in the group page of that match with
Yes,
Milan
I
and
saw
AC
it.
Milan?
I
It's
thought-
ridiculous.
That
I
was
thought that was a heat map of Man United versus Brighton.
it. Could have been both, you
Yeah.
know. So technically,
All right.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to wrap us up this week for the weekly recap on We Are Soccer. Appreciate everybody for joining, everybody putting their comments in. Listen,
Thank you, everybody. Nate, auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
yes.
Roast.
Cheers.
Thank you to Soccer World. Thank you to Next Level Training. Thank you to Dog and Pony Show Brewing. Thank you to the Michigan Jags. We appreciate it. Until